Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. It is time for Hoopsville once again, still on the road as I am still in Florida, Southern Florida to be exact. Welcome in. I'm your host, Dave McHugh. We'll do our best tonight on another long and loaded show here in the evening of Hoopsville. We'll be back at our normal studios for Monday's show. That's the only show we have next week because of championships for the women's side, the Final Four and championship game in Salem, Virginia, and on the men's side, the Elite Eight Final Four, which will be taking place on Thursday. So we won't be doing a Thursday show, and we'll be a little bit too busy. So no show later in the week next week, but after that, we'll do some show. I suspect it's going to have to be on Tuesday because when I get back from Fort Wayne, I've got to get right back into my MLB work on that Monday. So we'll probably do a show on Tuesday. Got to coordinate with the family. To recap the women's championship, who won it all, and then talk about who's going to be playing in the championship on the men's side. So that's all still ahead. But next week, we'll be back in the Hoopsville studios for the Monday show, then no show the rest of the week, as we're going to be busy with everything going on. You got questions for us? Tweet us at D3Hoopsville, hashtag Hoopsville. Email us, hoopsville at d3sports.com. You can interact with us on the YouTube Live channel. You can interact with us on Instagram if you'd like. We'll try and follow messages there. But email, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and the YouTube channel are your best bets. We have a very full show, as we mentioned tonight. Let's talk about who we've got on. Scheduled, as it were, right now, Jason Zimmerman for the second-ranked Emory Eagles will join us on Hoopsville ahead of their game against Yeshiva coming up on Friday. Shockingly, we haven't talked to Emory all season long. So we'll fix that tonight with Jason Zimmerman coming up here shortly. Markus Kahn Jay Randall will join us from the 5th-ranked Mary Washington Eagles program. Stunningly, you haven't talked to Mary Washington since the beginning of the season. So we'll catch up with Markus Kahn and learn from Jay Randall, their junior forward, about the Eagles' success and the games ahead, or the game ahead this week. Then we'll talk to Beth Andrews, Carly Perusik, and Ava Reinkartz of John Carroll women's basketball. Yes, all three of them. We'll talk to the 11th-ranked Blue Streaks ahead of their conference battle against Denison in the round of 16 at Washington and Lee. We'll talk to them coming up then. Allison Montgomery from the 12th-ranked Bates women's program will join us. So quickly back to John Carroll. We haven't talked to them since the opener of the season either. In Bates, we talked to Bates, but we didn't talk to Allison Montgomery. So we're going to have a chance to talk to her for the first time this year. And then Chad Dickman and Jevin Yarborough from the 16th-ranked Hood men's basketball team joining us. We talked to Dickman just a couple of weeks back. Few weeks back. I've lost track of time, but we haven't talked to Jevin. Value of leadership, service, advocacy, education, and inclusion. To learn more about the NABC and to become a member, visit NABC.com and follow the NABC on social media at NABC1927. That's NABC.com or NABC1927 on social media.
It's on us to stop sexual assault
in any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us. All of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Coach of the Year, Administrator of the Year, All-America Team, Wade Trophy. The WBCA doesn't just honor coaches, but players, administrators, and much more. The WBCA strives to honor those who have contributed to the advancement of women's basketball. Celebrate the present, honor the past, look to the future.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Welcome back, to Hoopsville, everybody. We know we're streaming, even though YouTube doesn't want to show it to me. Apparently, here's a great thing. YouTube decided right after we started the show that we needed to re-authenticate. Well, then why'd you let me start? I have plenty of questions. We are at least streaming. We appreciate everybody on there. If for some reason the audio archive is broken up and we're just starting now, I apologize. One of the gremlins of trying to get this to work properly was apparently our audio file, but hopefully everything's working. But thanks for joining us, everybody. We know we're streaming, at least we think we're streaming. We've been trying our best to stream, and we'll continue to go along. Worst case, we're going to do this show recorded and put out the audio broadcast of it. Men's basketball, let's switch to that gear, shall we? Emory men's basketball is having a tremendous season. In fact, to the point of maybe catching us all a little off guard, because I remember mentioning to Jason Zimmerman at one point, I said, hey, we got to get you on the show. We got to talk to you guys. And we kind of said, yeah, we'll do that. And then, well, to be honest, they hit a little bit of a lull, and I kind of lost track of them. And then the UAA just got, let's call it wacky. For lack of a better word, and I couldn't figure out who to talk to at what point, at what time, and how to pull it off. And suddenly I'm now in the second week of the tournament, and we haven't had Emory on the show. How does that happen? I'm not sure, but we're going to solve it right now, because coming up, as soon as I lock it in, will be the head coach of the Emory Eagles men's basketball program, Jason Zimmerman, who's made his waves around social media. He's certainly not been missing. He's been talking great about his team as he joins us on the Hoopsville Hotline. Coach, good to see you. Sorry it's taken us so long to talk about the Eagles, but wow, you guys are having a great season, and more importantly, you avoided what I know is your biggest fear, and that's the opening weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my biggest fear. And Dave, if we hit a lull in the season, I want to know it, because when you're 24-3, I don't think there's a lull there, big fella. I just don't. I mean, we go to Wash U in Chicago and lose. I don't think that's a lull.
I think that's what it was.
I think there's 400 teams in the country that would have done that.
No, so I think that's what's fascinating to me is you guys went and played that weekend, and I came out of it going, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. That's not what I expected. And I pivoted. I went and looked elsewhere. I think I maybe had McGrath on the show. I'm not positive of the exact timing. And I went, we'll come back to Jason when things bounce back. And I figured the next weekend you'd at least get some revenge, as it were, against those two. But then we lost track of you because we were trying to get so many other shows on. I think that's what it was that little lull just threw me, because I didn't expect you to lose both in the same weekend. And I know it's UAA play, and I know it's tough, and I know it's on the road. I know all those factors, but I guess for me, I was a little surprised by that. Were you surprised that you would have lost back-to-back on a weekend like that?
Surprise is not the right word. I was disappointed because I thought I think with our team this year, we can win any game we go into. So I was maybe disappointed that we didn't get at least one of them. Obviously, with this team, I think we can win them all. So going into it, but if you, we're 12-2 in the UAA, and so we weren't far off the lead ever, right? So I don't think I think this team was one, and everybody has kind of seen it. Like, you guys had all picked us high to start. Like, we had a great end of the season last year. I don't even remember our record, 23-6, I think, and we had the buzzer beater against Wesleyan. Great game. Joe's team was phenomenal, and we had a great game there. And, we had most of our guys coming back, and, of course, Ben with, controlling our team, and Jair coming back. But we had, AJ coming back. Ethan stepped in, great role, Mario. So we thought it could be a special season. It's turned out to be a really special season. Yeah, and I think those losses, yeah, we got beat. I thought the WashU game was bizarre. You know, you had a guy call 4 technical fouls. The same referee calls 4 technical fouls against my guys. And like, you know, Ben Pierce doesn't say boo on the court ever. Jair and AJ are a little bit more emotional. And of course, when we got 3, you know me, I'm not letting my guys have all the fun. I got to get into that one, you know, so why not? So, and then we go up to Mike. I think we were ranked 1 in the country. They were ranked 2 or 3, whatever. And we're playing them at their place. Like, hey, man, like, and it was a great game. We were up 13 in the second half. Yeah, and they came back. They were great. They have great players. They're a really good team. And they beat us. And then we came back the next weekend, and I thought we had that week of practice was phenomenal. Our seniors, Tyson, Johnny, and Jair, and Ben were just special that week. They really wanted to win the UAA. If they didn't win the UAA, they'd be the first senior class since 2013 to not at least win one UAA. So that was on their minds. That was weighing on their shoulders. That was weighing on them. The alums were letting them know about it. And then we made a great run at it. You know, we won our last 8 in the UAA, which is really hard to do. And you look, we talked about Wash Chicago, but if you look at our league this year, I mean, NYU has the point guard that played in Navy came in. Johnson, I think his name. He's phenomenal. The big was great. They had a kid from Denison. Denison came over as a grad transfer. Phenomenal. Brandeis was really hard to play against. They had Hudl, maybe one of the best players in the league. I mean, Carnegie had the big. Case had 2 bigs and a guard that scored 54. Rochester had the freshman of the year. Like, you go down the line with all of our teams, and like, if you don't come to play, we're going to lose. And we talk about it a lot. In the UAA, it takes 14 games to win a championship. So it's not a one weekend. You play 3 games and you get a league championship. It takes all 14 games and you got to play them all. And it came down to that 14th one for us, and we're fortunate enough to win, and really proud of our guys. But that's a long answer for your question of it didn't surprise me. I was maybe a little disappointed, but it turned out to be exactly, well, I don't know if it's what you needed. You never need to lose, but.
Well, I think I finally found the words I was looking for. I think it was a surprise that, you know, it was a 15-point loss to WashU, which I think at the time WashU was already kind of, they had lost 4 of their last 5, and so it's kind of like, oh my goodness, they just lost to WashU by 15? And then I took the mentality, and I'm not saying this is right, Jason, but okay, you're pissed off about that. You're going up against Chicago, and then you drop by 10. And for me, it was like, oh, this isn't what I expected. And so I was waiting
but
to hear.
If you only look at the end of the scores, like,
oh, sure, yeah,
we were at 13 in that Chicago game,
right?
Maybe by 10, and we fouled down the stretch.
Well, but
in that Wash game, we're down 2. We're down 2, and all of a sudden, the most bizarre things I've ever happened to me in 30 years of coaching, it happens, you know. And so, and we went into it like, yeah, we were upset, and we played really well at Chicago, and we were upset, but we knew it was a tough one. You could also look at it was WashU's pretty upset too. They're coming into that game. They've lost 4 or 5, and they're good now. And they may be playing the best as any team in the country right now. Pat's done a great job. Got them on track. I mean, I think they won their last 8, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, I think the last time they lost was at our place in overtime.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's great. Our league is phenomenal, and I know we talk about it a lot, and people probably get sick and tired of us talking about it, which is fine. I mean, I don't care if we talk about it or not.
Well, and maybe another reason I took a little bit of a break was I can't talk to UAA teams every single week.
Well, you can because they're really good, right?
Yeah, well, I could. You're right.
I mean, you can pick them. You can pick anyone you want. They're really good.
And just to be devil's advocate, the flip of that 13-point lead flipped to a 10 loss. I got nervous, and so fell off the radar for us. We're also trying to get as many guests as we can. But I found myself stunned sitting here this week going, how have we not talked to you?
Dave, I'll say the same thing. I thought it too, and I look back, I don't think you've had me on the show since 2022. So it's been 4 years since.
You think it's been that long?
I think it was like Schnare and Stuck we were talking about last time.
I don't know. I've got it here as, well, that's not it. I'll look it up. I'll look it up while we talk. I have a way to do it. But let's talk about your team. You mentioned Ben Pierce. this is, I mean, come on. Player of the year, first ever 4-time all UAA first teamer. Now, is that in UAA history or in Emory history?
No, that can't be in UAA history.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's UAA, but Emory history.
Our guy, Derek Reich, was like player of the year for 4 years.
Yeah, I think he was just written in, wasn't he?
I think, yeah.
But I mean, still, for Emory history, that's pretty impressive. This is your, you as a coach, your 6th appearance in the round of 16, but with Ben, you know, a preseason All-American who's got all the attention from watch lists and other awards and stuff. Obviously, everyone's going to key on him, and he still goes out and has an absolutely bonkers season. 2,000 career points, by the way, eclipsed that mark on Saturday against Roanoke. Tell me a little bit about how he stirs the drink and how everybody kind of responds to him.
Yeah, you know, he's had the ball in his hand since his freshman year. He stepped on campus and we kind of gave it to him, and he's been phenomenal. He's, you know, we kind of call him like this silent, we don't call him that. I only say this on podcasts, but he's like a silent assassin, right? He doesn't say anything. He's very, like Ethan made that last second shot, it was shot with 4 seconds to go against Clay and the other night, and Ben he didn't even pump his fist. He just ran back on defense, and like, okay, that's kind of what he does. But he has a great motor. We play him 40 minutes a game. After we got beat by Chicago and Walsh, I brought him in the office. I said, I think I need to take you out of the game more, give you a rest. And then my next statement was, but I'm not going to do that. So you got to figure out how you're going to play 40 minutes a night for the next, you only got 8 games left and then the tournament. So figure it out. I said, if I play 38 minutes a night and I give you 2 minutes rest, does that really matter? Like, does it really matter? Like, but he's been able to do it at a really high level, and defensively, he's been a lot better. Leadership-wise, he's been phenomenal. And he's just a tremendous person. The guys, I think I said this in another interview, but when he set the record for the all-time leading scorer in Emory history, to watch the guys' reaction after the game in the locker room, the joy that they had for him, right? And I think that just goes to show you what kind of person Ben is. I think I'm very biased here. There's a lot of great players out there. We've played against a lot of them. In my opinion, he's the best player in the country this year. And he's been really, really good for a really long time for me. I'm going to really miss him. I think we got a lawsuit against the NCAA to try to get him like 4 more years. We're trying to work that out for us, but no, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. We love him. It's been a joy to coach him.
Well, I mean, if there's some D1 athletes that are any example, you probably got a shoe in to get those 4 years. By the way, we didn't even mention 7.2 assists per game, leading Division III. Yeah. That's an insane number while you're also scoring insane points.
Yeah, he's going to be our leading scorer all time, Emory history. And I don't think he can catch our leading assist, but I think he'll be second in assists in Emory history. And yeah, that's pretty special. We've had some really good players here. So
yeah, you have. Speaking of good players, you also have Jair Knight, first teamer for the 3rd straight year. Ethan Faust, who was a second teamer. Just tell me a little bit about how everybody have kind of gelled together and play as well as they have.
Yeah, you know, Jair was All-American last year. I don't know what team it was, but one of the teams. He's had just as good a year this year. And he gives us something totally different than Ben. Ben's really quiet, and he goes about his business. Jair's a little bit more loud, whether it's with his athletic ability or his mouth, like one of the two. But his defensive ability. So he's a little bit more boisterous in those things, but they really have learned to play off each other, which has been phenomenal. And then you have Ethan, who didn't start last year, came in this year as a starter, and he's just grown as a player. I think 3 of the biggest plays on Saturday night, he hit the big shot, Ben throws it to him, and Harris Jackson makes a great cut, Ben throws it to him, he makes a 3 with 4 seconds left. But before that, he got like 3 deflections in our zone that either resulted in steals or resulted in like a tough shot. And so he's just gotten better. AJ Harris has been phenomenal in his role. And then Mario came in as a sophomore, and he's been, rebounding, block shots, finding ways to get to make an impact. So we've been really excited about how those guys all fit together for sure.
You all have played, as obviously the UAA schedule alone will always give what could be considered a tough test, right, for the season. But you go back and look for the rest of it, and you've got Trinity in your second game of the season. You lost 90-78. You played Barry, who certainly looked like a tough team this year. Christopher Newport, TCNJ, Bates, Hampton, Sydney. A lot of teams other than Hampton Sydney, they're NCAA tournament teams as well. What's your mentality when you go out and schedule out of conference? Because you already know the UAA is going to test you pretty hard. What is your mentality in terms of how you want to prepare your team or position your team when you go and look at your out of conference?
This is 2011. We didn't make the tournament. We were 20-5, 11-3 in the league, and it's the last time that two teams, and it's really like even before that, I think it was 10 years before that, two teams from the UAA didn't make the tournament, and we were 25, 11-3 in the league, and everybody told us that's the first time we were actually in the talk for that, for the region back when it was regionally ranked and all that jazz. But they said, hey, your schedule's not strong enough. So after that, I was like, well, forget this. I don't care if we lose or not, or if they're harder games. We're just going to play the best we can play. And we played Virginia. We started playing Virginia Wesleyan. We played Guilford every year. We played Randolph-Macon after that. We went to the Great Lakes Invitation. We did all of that stuff after that. And my philosophy now is like, I just want the best experience for our players. So we don't care who it is, where it is. This year we played in the J. Billis Classic. A couple years ago we played in the Great Lakes Invitational. We're trying to get it, like, we just want to give the best games. We played Christopher Newport, played John up there 2 years ago. He came down here for the Billis Classic. We just want to play the best games that we can play for our guys, the experience for our players. And we know that's, I think Massey had his strength of schedule 2, had his 1 most of the year. But I think Massey had his 2 strength of schedule. I think we played 5 teams over Massey top 100. Only 5 games this whole year out of our 20 whatever had been over Massey top 100, right? So we enjoy doing that. Again, I don't think I enjoy that, right? Like if you say you enjoy that, you're like demented, right? Like it's not, you don't enjoy it, but it gives you the test where you're ready to go when we have to go in the UAA. So that's kind of how we schedule it. Everybody's a little different. Everybody's saying now, well, you don't need to schedule that hard because the MPI and there's numbers and da-da-da-da-da. And I get all that. Like, look, I get it. But I want the best experience for my guys, and we think the best experience for our guys is playing games that put you on stage as much as you can. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, great answer. I appreciate it. When you dive into last weekend, you take on an up-and-coming team in the W, Mississippi University of Women men's program under Dean Burrows, who obviously has had his success at Wesley, and then you take on Clay Nunley's squad and Roanoke. And I said on Monday's show, watching the Roanoke game, I kept thinking my stream was frozen or something was wrong with the scoreboard, because for about 4 minutes at the end of that game, nobody scored. And then you guys go to overtime. I was starting to have some deja vu of that floor, in that circumstance, of that second round game. How tough was the weekend in general, but how tough was that second round game? Scoreless for 4 minutes? It's insane.
Yeah, I told my wife before the morning of the game, I said, I'm really scared. Not scared. I'm anxious about this one. Clay's a really good coach, like really, really good coach. One of the best that in the business. We scrimmaged them early in the year, and we played really well. They didn't play as well. They didn't have their best player, and we didn't scout them. They didn't scout us. We just played because we knew it was going to be a good game. And I knew they were playing really well, and they kind of had like destiny on their side, right? Like the Virginia Wesleyan game, the kid missed a free throw. The Randolph-Macon game, they're down 6 with a minute to go and come back and win. And it's just, I just knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was. And Clay did a great job. His guys were phenomenal. I went back and watched the last 4 minutes this week a couple of times, and like I look at the shots we got, and I'm like, dang, like Ben got a good shot. Jair, good shot. Like they were contested, but they were like, hey, I'll take that shot again. And hey, I'll take that shot again. And then I watched his side, and like number 11, who's a really good player, Morgan, he had a couple good ones. Number 6 had a good one. Number 15 had a good one. Number 5 had a good one. And I said this in a post-game press conference. I think everybody got a little fatigued just with our shots. They didn't get fatigued defensively, but our shots got a little fatigued. And so then it comes down to like who's going to make that last play. And they actually made a shot to go ahead with whatever 20 seconds. And then Ben made one of the best assists in Emory history, kicked it out, and Ethan made a shot. The other part about that, and you know this because you follow, you know, our alums. A lot of our alums were at the game, and one of our alums texted me after the game and said, "Hey man, our program deserved that win, right? And I deserve that win because we get beat by Pomona at the buzzer we get beat by Wabash at the buzzer." That was before COVID and then right after COVID. So 2 games at our place in that second round at the buzzer. We get beat in the first round by Hampton-Sydney. We have a shot to win in the first round at their place. Like, we've been right there in all those games. And then Wesleyan, we have 7 shots at it down the stretch and miss them. And again, that's not on, we didn't just miss them. They were really good. We got shots. They just didn't go in and they guarded us. But yeah, and I think when you've been through it so many times, when I shook Clay's hand at the end, I know how Clay Nunley feels, right? And Clay Nunley's my friend, and for all the joy that I was watching with my guys, for all the joy that I was watching with my wife and my daughter and my family and friends and everybody there who was so happy for me, I really felt for Clay, right? And I told him that, and it's hard, man. This game is hard, and you put all your soul and body and your life into it for so many months, and it comes down to make a free throw, miss a free throw, make a shot, miss a shot, get a rebound, and that's what makes this thing great.
So now you're moving forward. Yeah, it was a wild finish. You get ready now for this oddity, right? It's the one-off. Haven't had it since 2020 when everything came crashing to a halt, and we didn't even do it in 2013. It was a different format altogether. How are you preparing for the fact that you're playing a single game? And we'll talk about the opponent in a bit, but just the fact that it's a single game with everything on the line to be able to go to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, it's kind of at the beginning of the year, for some reason, we had a lot of stretched out games. Like we had a game and then a week and then a game and then a week and then a game and a week. And in the UAA too, you know, we play Friday, Sunday, and then you have time, like you have some time. So we kept our same routine. You know, we practice on Monday, we practice Sunday, practice Monday, took Tuesday off, and practiced yesterday and today. So our guys are, you know, our seniors are pretty locked in, and we just try to keep our same routine and go at it. And hopefully tomorrow at 1 we'll be ready. We'll be ready, but hopefully we're ready for sure.
What do you expect from Yeshiva? Obviously, a team that gets a lot of attention for a lot of different reasons. They played a very tough schedule outside of conference. They didn't play Montclair in the opening weekend, so I don't know if that's useful or not for you. But they certainly played 2 really tough teams. One you're familiar with in Bates. What do you take?
Yeah, I think. When you watch them, first of all, I really don't care who they play, what they play. I just watch how they play, right? Like, and they're good. Like, they're a really good basketball team offensively. They pass it really well. Offensively, they move, they challenge you, they make you make decisions defensively. And if you're not connected, they're gonna score. Like, they're really, really talented offensively. And so that gives you a whole different challenge, right? Now they get a lot of attention, like you said, for a lot of things, like, but they get attention because they're a good basketball team. Like, hey man, they're playing in the Sweet 16. Like, we're playing the Sweet 16 to go to Fort Wayne. They're a very good basketball team. They're very good offensively, and then defensively, because they're big and long, they have good size and older guys. They can put you in bad situations. So, you know, I think we prep really well. I think we feel good about it. But you know, when the fight starts and you get punched in the face, you got to be ready to stick with your game plan. So we'll see how we do. But they are Ellie does a great job with his team, and they believe in each other. So those are dangerous people when you do that.
I'd say are you used to playing an early game? But I mean, UAA play, you either were playing early on a Sunday or now you're playing somewhat early on a Friday, earlier than you're used to. You're used to these types of scenarios where the guys are getting up at a different time and playing at a different time, right? There's nothing abnormal about this.
Well, the latest game we played all year was the 7:15 games we played this last weekend. That was abnormal. Like the 7:15 games were abnormal to us. Like this, when they said we were playing at 1, I was ecstatic. Like you get up, you have pregame meal at 9 o'clock, and then you play. And then at 3 o'clock, I'm either going to be happy or it's going to be over. And at 3 o'clock on Friday, right? So 3 o'clock on Friday, one of those things is going to happen. So no, but we like the 1 o'clock start time. So the only reason I don't like it is I've gotten a lot of calls, text messages, people stopping by the office mad because they got to take off work on Friday to get to the game. And so that's the only reason we're frustrated with the 1 o'clock game. And it's not me, it's everybody else. My wife, for sure.
I'm pretty sure if it was D1, no one would be making that comment, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Hey, if we're watching the game, opening 5 minutes or maybe under the first media timeout, what could we watch up until that point to understand if the things are working out the way you guys want them to, or things are maybe a little bit more challenging and there's going to need to be some adjustments?
Well, I think the opening round, the first 4 minutes before the media timeout, you're always feeling it out, right? We're going to have a great crowd. They bring a ton of people. We have a great Jewish community around our campus. I think we sold over 700 tickets today, pre-sale, to get in the gym. So it's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be loud. There's going to be a great atmosphere. So there's going to be a little bit of, you're kind of throwing jabs and seeing what's, get a feel for it, get our feet underneath us. But then, we don't take a whole lot of time. My team doesn't take a whole lot of time to feel it out. Like we kind of just run at you and figure it out on the fly. So that's probably what we'll do in this game too.
Might be one of those rare occasions where the gym doesn't feel like your home floor.
Yeah, maybe. I just love the atmosphere for sure. And so just give me people in the gym and let's go play. It's what makes it great.
Oh, hey, Jason, I appreciate the time. I checked December 2020, or not December, sorry, Selection Sunday of 2022.
2022, Dave.
Yeah,
I was getting.
Hold on.
I was getting a complex, man. I was
In
getting
defense,
defense,
last year was an abbreviated season for us. We didn't even get on the air until the end of.
Hey, you know what I say, Dave,
February.
about that? My guys give me a lot of excuses too. Like,
but then I've got 2 seasons where you didn't make the tournament. You're 15-10 one of those years.
No. Don't go there. We only missed.
I'm just saying.
Season.
It goes both ways.
Dave, we went 10 in a row. We missed it one time, and then we've been to the Elite 8 and Sweet 16. Don't go there now. You can try, but if we're gonna go through this, it's gonna don't do that now.
Oh, it's fun.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for the time. Good luck tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe we'll be seeing you next week in Fort Wayne. As always, though, if you remember from 2022, I don't know, maybe it's too far along for you, but we do have a tradition on this show where we give the guests the final word. Any final thoughts you want to share with those tuned in?
Yeah, I just think just the people in our business, the coaches, the players at our level, they compete their tails off. There's a high level of basketball IQ. There's a high level of basketball skill, competitiveness, toughness at our level, and we appreciate all you guys do to bring that to a stage, to put that on a stage for these guys. And I can see Markus right here on my computer as he's getting ready to go. I want to say hey to him and good luck. Like we got last year we played the nail biter, and but guys like Markus, guys like Clay, guys like Elliot, they were playing. They're special coaches, special people, and they lead men the right way. And I appreciate you putting us on a platform that we can talk about it.
Well, I appreciate your time, bud. Look forward to catching up with you soon, and. Maybe 2 years. We'll split the difference.
Let's just not wait 4, Dave. Come on, let's go. Come on. Thanks,
Good
Dave.
to see you. Take care of yourself. Jason Zimmerman joining us on the Hoopsville Hotline. Great to chat with him about the Emory men's program. And again, taking on Yeshiva, they start things off on Friday as part of our 8 games on the men's side on Friday and Saturday. We'll take a break. Aforementioned Markus Kahn joins us along with one of his top players. And we'll talk about I guess another Eagles team going Eagles to Eagles there. Didn't even do that on purpose. Mary Washington joins us next. You're listening to Hoopsville, presented by D3Hoops.com. Back with more after this.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important. But as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
We are the coaches of women's basketball. We are leaders and teachers, dreamers and winners. We are professionals who conduct ourselves ethically and with integrity. We place the education, safety, and well-being of the athletes we coach above all else and teach them the fundamental values they need to succeed in life. We are coaches united for the good of our game and those who play it. We are the WBCA.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% would go pro. That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.D3Hoops.com.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
The National Association of Basketball Coaches is the nation's premier professional development and advocacy organization for basketball coaches at every level. The NABC strives to serve as the voice for coaches on national issues while advancing the core value of leadership, service, advocacy, education, and inclusion. To learn more about the NABC and to become a member, visit NABC.com and follow the NABC on social media at NABC 1927. That's NABC.com or NABC 1927 on social media.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Welcome back to Hoopsville, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you got any questions for us, tweet us at D3Hoopsville, hashtag Hoopsville, email us hoopsville at D3sports.com, lots of other ways. By the way, buymeacoffee.com/Hoopsville, real important. If you don't mind using that, that helps us continue our work on the show. There's a QR code. Become a Hoopsville member or just buy us coffee. It's a thing. You can donate and help us out. We appreciate it. We were just talking about the Eagles of Emory. Now we're talking about the Eagles of Mary Washington. Stunningly, I didn't realize I hadn't had Markus Kahn on the show since way back at the beginning of the year, talking about Mary Washington, the expectations this year, and what the team was hoping to accomplish. Well, I think they've accomplished a lot. They certainly had a tremendous year. I know we can always find out more on whether they think it's as great a year, but they're 26-3 as well this year. Got past Amherst in the last round and Worcester State before that. Of course, they had come back maybe on a red eye as well, as we talked to John Krikorian on Monday from Santa Cruz. They get ready for a tough Wisconsin lacrosse team, but the game will be at home, which might be a benefit. So talking about it and joining us on the Hoopsville hotline to maybe humor us a little bit is the head coach of the Eagles, Markus Kahn, and one of his star players in Jay Randall. Gentlemen, thanks for taking the time to join us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us on.
Let's start with the fact you're 26-3, Markus. When you and I talked about this back in November, did you have 26-3 penciled in? What was the expectations, and have you lived up to it?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't have had the exact 26 wins locked in. But, you know, our expectation this year was get better every day. You know, build off of last season's success, our late run we made last year, really build off of that. And I thought we've done a good job with that. I mean, again, we're a young team, and so you never know what you're going to get. And to their credit, they've really been able to pick up where we left off last year. Our sophomores and juniors are really leading our freshmen and bringing everybody along. So we are right where I had hoped to be. Certainly still playing this weekend. I know when we were up at Wesleyan last year, having just lost to Emory in this round of the Sweet 16 last year, that the vibe in the locker room was one of, okay, we've got here. How do we get back? You know, let's make sure we get ourselves back to this point and really try to push on through again. So yes, I mean, this was kind of the hope, the want, and here we are.
Jay, from your point of view, what was the expectations coming in? 26-3, being at this point in the season, et cetera, et cetera. Does that all make sense?
I feel like the expectation for this year was we were going to be good, but not exactly like Coach said, like penciling a number like 26-3, but just taking every opportunity that was given to us by making the Sweet 16 last year to try and get back there this year.
Obviously, getting to the Sweet 16, we were just talking to Emory last year and coming up short, even though, I mean, it was an insane season. Markus, you and I certainly talked about the fact that you all kind of recovered from an odd finish or an odd start, had this miraculous finish to the end, but expectations weren't there, right? No one thought you'd even be in the NCAA tournament, let alone the second weekend. This time it's a little different. Big target, right? Everybody knows you're a good team. Everybody knows you're going to be a program that's going to be expected to play well. And then you start moving up the top 25. You're into the top 10. You're into the top 5, Jay. Big target on your backs, right? So did you see the difference in your opponents as the season went on and how they attacked you and the hope of maybe being able to knock off Mary Washington at some point?
Yes. I don't know if you're asking me or Jay, but yeah, I think there was a different feel to it where we knew we were going to get everybody's best punch. I think we saw that. I mean, you go back to the start of the year and a couple of our first games where we were, 2 overtime games early in the season. And even later in the year, it was a good lesson for our guys to learn that, hey, we're going to get everybody's best game when we show up or they show up to our gym. And we cannot take a night off because everybody's going to want to pick us off. Whereas opposed to last year, maybe certainly as the year went on and our record wasn't what we had hoped, it was a little reversed where we knew that, hey, we got to have our best game tonight to have a chance to win. And maybe some teams took us a little lightly. And so I think we've kind of flipped the script on that this year.
Jay, I'm curious. I'm going to talk in a bit about 2 particular moments of the season I found the most fascinating. But did you feel that difference in games? Did you feel the intensity from players as your season went on and on and on, and the wins kept piling up and the rankings increased, that you were starting to get a different opponent, not the team, I mean the type of opponent you would have thought you would have faced previously?
I'd say that every time we step on the court, no matter who we play, that team, not necessarily feel like they have a chip on their shoulder, but we're going to get their best shot pretty much.
Yeah, it seemed it. And the two moments that I think are interesting to me were in November, and interesting enough, we talked about this off air by chance. You played that overtime game against Rowan, and then you had that double overtime game against Yeshiva. Yeshiva, what was it, the day before, got absolutely their doors blown off by Randolph-Macon. Marcus, I want to start with you on this. I was maybe like everybody else thinking, okay, this isn't going to be much of a game. And all of a sudden you've got Yeshiva ready to give you a loss, your first one early in November, and change kind of a lot of barometers. Did the team maybe see the game and, like all of us, just think, this is easy?
I would hope not, but I would hope, but I'm sure there's a little bit of that slips in, right? And but I think that was good for us. I think I don't know that we approach it the right way. I would say that to Coach Steinmetz's credit, they came out in a 2-3 zone, and I'm not sure he's ever put out a 2-3 zone in his career. And so they came out in that. We weren't prepared for that, and that's 100% on me. But as the game went on, I think that we played a little tighter than I would have hoped. I would say the thing that stuck out to me with that was, it was a rough game for us. However, we found a way to get it into overtime, and then in overtime, I think it was down 6 with 30 seconds to win it. Showed our. I think that gave me a little insight into our guys.
Jay,
as well.
I'm curious from your perspective, what's it like as a player and as part of the team, understanding you've got a bigger fight in Yeshiva than you expected, but more importantly, how did that then translate forward up until now? Is that a game you guys still talk about in terms of being prepared and ready?
I feel like that game translates to now greatly. Just how we fought back. I think we were down maybe 15 at one point in the first or second half. Just us being battle tested and fighting back pretty much.
Do you talk about that kind of game in sense of fighting back all the time, or do you also talk about the fact that this is a reminder that anybody can beat us if we're not ready?
I feel like it's more of a reminder. It's definitely something that we still talk about.
When you guys moved forward, you got St. Thomas tripped you guys up right before Christmas, 64-55. We all know St. Thomas, who's still playing, is a pretty good team. You took on, obviously with the C2C schedule, you take on all comers at almost any time of the season. Virginia Wesleyan and Catholic, and Salisbury, obviously in conference, non-conference play. Then you had this sequence with Christopher Newport and Randolph-Macon that I found interesting. You lose to Christopher Newport, Marcus, 86-77. Randolph-Macon then beats you guys 85-74. Games that you're in, but it's back-to-back losses. You probably know as a coach, this is where things can derail, but you got Christopher Newport coming right back up. This time it'll be at home versus on the road, and you get the 11-point win. That 3-game moment felt like a really significant part of the season to me.
Oh, for sure. That was, first of all, very few people get to go into either of those gyms and come out with a win. And so we knew that. Going to play at CNU, going to play at Randolph-Macon, back-to-back games. It was poor scheduling. I should fire the scheduling guy for that week. No, but it was great. And it was a moment that we all had to kind of step back at that next practice on Monday and really, get back to some basics and really get back to doing things the way that we should have been. And now again, two very good teams that got us in a week, both on the road. I was glad. I think the guys probably looked at me like I was crazy, but I was glad we had seen you again right away. I wanted it to be an opponent that's a 50-50 game that we are going to have to really fight to win. And I think we got up for that moment. I think our guys showed the resolve that we have, that we are a good team. Because that to me was the game where our season could have really taken a turn. Losing three in a row, and that one at home would have been tough on us mentally. And so for us to bounce back the way we did, come out with that win, I think that sent us on another really good win streak. So.
Jay, interestingly enough, you played Christopher Newport 3 times this year in 3 different places. You played him at their place, you played him at your place, and then you all headed off to California to play him at Santa Cruz. I'm curious, tell me about the differences in those 3 games. The one they beat you, the one you get them back and win by 11, and then in the conference title game, you destroy them by 30, holding them to 58. What were the differences in those 3 games?
For the first game, I feel like the major difference was that we didn't do our job with Toa Hollenbeck. We let him go off. And then the second game, I feel like we better contained him. And then the third game, I just feel like overall, from our roster top to bottom, everybody played well. I believe everybody got to play that game.
I would hope. If Markus didn't put everybody in a 30-point game, he and I are going to have a conversation about some things. Jay, tell me about your teammates. You're led by what's interesting is you don't have a lot of high school. Well, hold on. I clicked on the wrong link. I'm gonna pull a fast one. I clicked on. There we go. You're outscoring your opponents by 16. Kai Robinson leads the team 24.5 points a game, 13 points from yourself. Then you got Ulysses Young, who's got 10.6. Jaden Burgess we're going to call it 10 points. Caden Bates, 8 points, etc. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to play with these guys. A guy you can hand off to and score 24, another guy you can hand off, score 10, you can get your own points. What's it like as a dynamic?
It's amazing, really. All the attention I feel like goes to Kai, but I feel like any one of our guys on any given night can go for 20 and can hurt you. It's just amazing playing with these group of guys.
Is it an offensive mentality that you guys have, and then you'll play defense? Do you try and start on the defensive end and go play offense, no matter what coach wants? Which one is it in your guys' head? Which switch goes on first?
Everything starts with defense. If you can't play defense, you're not going to get on the floor for us.
So, in that sense, is it intensity or is it smarts?
I feel like it's a mixture of both. The intensity. Our defensive intensity, I feel like it's up there, but it's also playing smart and not necessarily quote unquote gambling.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Markus, is that kind of coming from you, or is this something the guys have evolved with?
No, I think, that's something we've really talked a lot about. I think, as you know, Dave, if you went back through my career, certainly back before here, it was much more of an offensive mindset. But again, with the schedule that we play, I learned, coming down here and playing a lot of the ODAC schools, and certainly when it was the CAC and the Yorks and schools like that, that you had to be able to defend. That it all started with that and being physical on the defensive end. And so these last couple of years, as we've been growing and getting better, it's really started with that. And we kind of talked about that at the beginning of this year. That hey, I think we have a lot of guys that can really score. So if you want to get on the floor, you got to be able to defend and defend the way that we want to, and meet our expectation with that. Which, I think it's both, as Jay said, there's a certain level of intensity you need to play with, but you got to be able to stick to our principles and really understand what it is we're trying to accomplish on the defensive end. We're not trying to overpower anybody. We're just going to make it as difficult for you, try taking away what you want to do, and as we can.
And you kind of see that in stats. For example, in turnovers, you've forced over 420 turnovers, but you've only committed 280 as a team. Half the turnovers you forced, or more than, are steals, while only about half of the turnovers you guys have forced is turnovers. Are steals, apologies. You shoot 48% from the floor, but you only allow 39%. You shoot 38% from deep, but you only allow 31%. You out-rebound your opponents by 16. Like there's numbers there that clearly say that there's a huge defensive presence, while then the offensive numbers obviously stand out. So moving into the NCAA tournament, you play Worcester State, and then you play Amherst, not WPI as many probably expected, Marcus, tell me a little bit about that weekend. What was it like to kind of get through those two teams on your home floor?
Oh, I think it was that you hit the nail on the head, which made it so fun, was playing on our home floor. Um, I know you talked to John about this last week, I believe, about bringing the red eye, taking the red eye home from the weekend before that. And then obviously there's a ton of excitement behind getting into the NCAA tournament, winning the conference championship game. But that red eye home takes it out of you. And so Sunday is just everybody, kind of get our bearings again. And Monday, the excitement of the selection show to see who we're playing. We were pretty confident we were going to be at home. Which really helped us. I think having to get back on a bus like we did last year, right? We win it, but it wasn't the flight home. But even just having to turn around and get back out on the road makes that a little bit more difficult. So we really enjoyed it at home. We had a really good support from our campus. The other sports teams, we were on spring break, so the other spring sports that were around practicing came out and really gave us a lot of support in the community of Fredericksburg. We're seeing more and more of them each game, and we're really hoping they come out in big numbers this weekend. But that was huge for us. Certainly playing the two teams that we played, both obviously get to this level, quality opponents, and Amherst gave us some fits there in the first half. Then we kind of locked in there at halftime, and then made a few adjustments to a couple things, figured out what they were doing, and kind of took off there in the second.
The last time Mary Washington men's basketball was at this stage of the NCAA tournament, they also took on an SCAC team. It was in the Elite Eight. It was Williams before Marcus got there. That was the year before. Didn't end the way they wanted, but you guys got past Amherst. Jay, I got a question for you that's a little bit different because I want to hear it from you before I hear it from Marcus. You've got Wisconsin lacrosse ahead of you. This is, the mighty WIAC, as it were. We all talk about that, or the UAA and all these other conferences. An unknown, because you haven't played a team like that necessarily recently, or let alone ever. What do you know about Wisconsin lacrosse and what they're bringing to town, and what you guys are prepping for, as it were?
What I've been hearing about is about Sam Grieger, how phenomenal of a player that he is, and how really a game changer he is offensively and defensively.
So what do you guys need to do you think, Jay, from your perspective? Is this a defensive game? Is it going to start defensively, or do you think you guys can see opportunities offensively?
I think it's going to be a defensive game. I mean, we are, in my mind, a defensive team, so I think it's going to start there.
Again, it's flying birds again, by the way, because lacrosse is coming to town. It's all about the bird mascot. Marcus, what do you see in this UWLC team that
I see.
Yeah, I mean, just leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot similar to us. If I'm being honest, I mean, they've got a really good scorer, some really good parts around him. They got some guys that can really shoot it. Grieger does a little bit of everything for them. He's a really good player. I haven't watched him on film here for this week, and I mean, we certainly have our work cut out for us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It is exactly what you want out of a game at this time of year. I'm happy it's on our floor and we didn't have to take the flight, but I don't think that'll slow them down. I know they'll come in prepared and ready, and certainly battle tested going through their conference play. And I feel like we've been battle tested with our schedule, not really the conference schedule, but being able to go, play the ODAC schools and, seeing you 3 times. That's going to prepare us for just about anybody that we face. And so I think both of us will come in battle tested and ready for a good game. And I think, if I can, I know a lot about, well, not a lot, but I've competed against a couple schools in my career from their league, and always very well coached, as I see in lacrosse as well. But we got some really good Division III basketball going on here in Virginia right now. If you look at CNU, us, Roanoke, what a great season they had. Macon, obviously, Virginia Wesleyan with another good year. Like, there's some very good Division III basketball going on in here in Virginia that we've kind of run through in our season too. And so, again, I think we've both prepared ourselves with our regular season play for a game like this on Saturday.
Curious thing we haven't talked about at all. This is still a young team. There isn't a senior on this team. Jay, you're an elder statesman of the team as a junior, amongst with 4 of your buddies as juniors. Jay, I'll start with you. What's it like to be having this kind of success, the end of last year included, and this NCAA opportunity, knowing that essentially everyone comes back next year to try and do it again, and you don't have any seniors that you lean on? It's underclassmen.
Honestly, I don't even think we've really discussed it about next year. We're really just focused on this year and the next game. But thinking about it now, it's amazing to have not necessarily losing anybody, and it's just being able to come back next year and try to do it all over again.
Markus, again, you don't have any seniors on this team. Like, this is insane. Obviously, there'll be a big target next year, but just the team now, you're doing all this with juniors, sophomores, and freshmen in your career. I don't think you've ever had this kind of thing.
No. Certainly not. And it just kind of worked out that way. Last year we were really young with the exception of 2 fifth-year guys. And so they both graduated, and here we are. I will say that it speaks volumes about those guys on our roster, though, being young, that they are trusting what we're teaching them. They're bought into what we're talking about daily in practices on and off the court. They're really bought into the program and everything that we have going on. And it is probably one of, if not certainly in the top 1 or 2 most fun teams that I've coached. Like, this is such a good group of young guys that know how to have fun. But for that 90 minutes, on the court every day, we're getting after it and we're competing. And, the freshmen are learning from the older guys, and older being 1 year older, 1 or 2 years older. But it is, again, I just think that speaks volumes of the leadership from like Jay or Caden Bates even, or, Kai Robinson as a sophomore, and the way that they're helping these freshmen come along. And really some freshmen have been forced to step up in some big moments for us. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun to see the excitement that they have and just playing the game.
Gentlemen, I appreciate all the time. Thanks so much. There's so much more we could touch on. The fact that you've got one of the Robinson brothers and the other one's at Hood. Yeah. They're both playing this weekend. The excitement that's got to have in the locker room, plus, again, the youth movement and so many other angles. But I got to let you go, but I appreciate the time. Jay, we'll let you answer this second because Coach knows about this tradition. We have a tradition where we let the guests have the final word. So we'll let you have any final thoughts. But before I get there, I do want to give Markus, you a shout out. Thank you very much for sending not only the Mary Washington jersey, buddy, but dude, the Cabrini jersey. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, I had those down. I have several more down in our basement. I think my wife was very happy that I was getting rid of one of those. So
my wife's not happy you sent it to my basement.
yeah, right. No, listen, I appreciate it. I'll let Jay answer the question, but I appreciate all that you do for D3 Hoops. You were there, and you and I got to have a lot of conversations during my time at Cabrini, and I hope we can continue to do that. So I'm glad that you have a piece of that history too.
I appreciate the history. It was an absolute awesome surprise. Thanks so much. It really meant a lot. Jay, any final thoughts you want to share with those tuned in?
I just want to thank you for having us and let you know that I love watching your segments. I watch them a lot. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
I'm a big fan.
We'll get a few more out there, I promise. I got some alerts while I've been out of town that some packages have been arriving. I have a feeling we have a few more to unpack when we get back. Jay, I need you to do me one favor. Markus won't do it, so I need you to do me a favor. Keep Clint Often in line for me, would you please?
Say that again?
Keep Clint Often in line for me. Yeah, just keep him in check for me. He needs to just simmer down. He's getting too excited about men's basketball right now. I'm a little worried about the guy. Guys, thanks so much for the time. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to watch the game. And, hopefully we're seeing you in Fort Wayne next week as well. In the meantime, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jay Randall and Markus Kahn joining us here on the Hoopsville Hotline. Great to chat with them about the Eagles. When we come back, we'll head up to John Carroll women's basketball. We got a whole crew joining us to talk Blue Streaks women's basketball coming up, including Coach Beth Andrews. You're listening to Hoopsville, presented by D3 Hoops. Back with so much more right after this.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go on a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
We are calling you, all of you. We are calling all Division III schools to join our cause.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division III. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Welcome back to Hoopsville, everybody. Continue to roll along in our Florida studios here in Southern Florida. I actually head back to Maryland tomorrow morning, just in time to experience the winter weather that has returned. If you got questions for us, tweet us at D3Hoopsville, hashtag Hoopsville, email us, hoopsville@d3sports.com, or join us on the live stream, which, by the way, admittedly, I've not done a great job tuning into, but there's plenty of people there, so we appreciate that. Reminder, Monday we'll be back in our normal Hoopsville studio at a normal time, 12 p.m. Eastern, as we recap this next weekend of the NCAA Tournament. And then a reminder, we won't be back on the air until probably the next Tuesday because of the games that will take place later in the week. Coming up, we're going to talk to John Carroll women's basketball. We actually pre-recorded this just before we went on air because they had dinner plans that they needed to run to. During it, I'm going to mention Beth Andrews as Beth Edwards, and I apologize now. She told me about that. I mentioned it, I don't know how many times, after the show, after we recorded. Beth Edwards was a classmate of mine in college, a very wonderful lady, and for whatever reason, I transposed it in my head in, I can only guess, was my hurry to get home or get back to the hotel room and get booked. We were running late from our game today, so we were a little late getting to the interview. So I can only guess that's what I did. But in the meantime, we had a great conversation with the Blue Streaks, another team like Mary Washington. I didn't talk to Beth since the beginning of the year when we started this show, but we talked with her with a wonderful conversation, and I hope you'll enjoy it as much as we did. We talked again a little bit earlier today. Now joining us on the Hoopsville Hotline, it's an entourage, you could say, for John Carroll women's basketball. Beth Edwards, their head coach, joins us. And Coach, I'll let you do the honors. Who have you got joining us?
I have Carly Prusik and Ava Rinkars with me.
They're kind of pretty good. from what rumor has.
They very much are. We're very, very lucky with the senior-led group, this urgent group, and it's like you said, an entourage. We're a group of undersized post players that are sitting here in front of you, so it's a good bench to be on.
Yeah, I noticed you listed them as guards/forwards, and I thought you were being a little cheeky.
They're forwards, but can do a little bit of both. But we are that 5'9" kind of cap right there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Let's talk. I can't believe I mentioned the intro. We haven't talked since the beginning of the season. We had you on the premiere of the show this year. I kind of chalked it up as a December interview. Obviously, I missed it by a month. Kind of held serve, as it were, right? 26-4, had a really strong campaign. The season obviously went out pretty well considering how tough conference play was alone. But I know it's a little hard to do at this point, but quickly recap it for me from like when you tipped until you finished and just how the season ebbed and flowed and worked out for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think the quickest way to do it is to go back to these two's junior year when we dropped a quarterfinal game in the OAC tournament. And after that, the postseason meetings, the energy going into preseason, we saw it. We knew what we were capable of. Change conference, not change conference. We were just excited because we knew what we were bringing back and we knew how hungry we would be. And once again, with the senior leadership, we just knew that urgency was there. So we were really talking about championship and spring break basketball in October. I think that's something really special that this group was not afraid to do. And then, yeah, you put yourself in this crazy conference where 4 teams are in the NCAA tournament, 3 hosted, and we were able to split with a couple of them. And, we unfortunately fell short versus Denison. But it's only prepared us for what we're going to face this weekend again. So our little memo was to just get out of each weekend. We won Friday to play Saturday. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're in the second round and we play Friday, and our goal is just to find a way to get out and play Saturday.
Ladies, kind of curious from your perspective, how was the season? Obviously, expectations were pretty solid. Coach had lofty ideas. What did it kind of go from you? And I'll let you pick who wants to start, but how did it go from the start to the finish? Obviously, was it as long and as short as it feels sometimes, or was it somewhere in between?
Go ahead, answer. I mean, like she said, from the beginning of the season, based off last year, like we knew what we were capable of. So going in, we had high goals and kind of just taking it one day at a time, which now we're here at the end, which it has been a long season, but this is what we've been waiting for. So now this time feels short. It's going by quick. We're where we want to be. But like I said, so the buildup has been amazing, and just like our growth, obviously kind of coming up short in our conference tournament and obviously losing to Denison in the regular season, not what we wanted, but it is great that we get a chance to play them again tomorrow and just kind of have the opportunity to keep going. So we're really excited about it. And this season, obviously with the seniors leading it, has been really, really great.
Yeah. By the way, playing them again, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I think looking back on it, it feels like I can't believe we started in October and it's gone by so quickly. But, in October and November, I feel like those months feel like they're taking forever in a sense. And it feels like, oh, we still have so long to go. But then as soon as it hit, like conference play and then, postseason conference and then now, NCAA postseason, it's just flown by, and it's our last year. So it's like trying to stay in the moment and like really appreciate it and not take it for granted, which can sometimes be tough to do.
Almost all your losses were to ranked teams. We can maybe make an exception for DePaul because they're normally ranked, not ranked this time around, but they pulled off the surprise. I mean, knocked off 3 ranked teams in the final 3 games to clinch their berth. So it was all tough opponents, right? Now, and you've had your back and forths with Dennis and Beth. How do those losses to Ohio Wesleyan, but also the wins against ranked opponents, prepare you for another game against Denison? Or is it because it's Denison, all it is the games against Denison that really matter?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that I've been transparent with my team. It's just another game, and it's a big game because we're in it. But we do have those conversations in huddles and hard practices, like, you're made for this, you're built for this because you've done it already. So we've had the last second sideline out of bound play drawn. We've defended the last second. We've lost the last second. Like we've kind of been through it. We've been up 14 and then all of a sudden tied at 2, and we've been in the crazy great environments. So with all those ups and downs, I think that mellows us out. But the thing that stands out to me the most about this team is media timeouts happen. My staff is over here talking about what we need to fix. And as I walk into the huddle, this one or my point guard, they're already talking about it. Like, hey, we're not liking the switch on the weak side, or hey, can we try this set? So we're just so meshed up, and we've gone through so many things already that they know what I'm thinking and we know what they want to do. So we just really work together in those moments. And I think that makes end of the game or tight situations more calm, because once again, we just reiterate to them, you've already done this. So kind of just next play and let it happen.
Carly and Ava, I'm kind of curious, since your next opponent is Denison, you've seen them a bunch, not only this season, but obviously in your career, this season being the most important. Can you fall into the trap of, oh, we're just preparing for Denison, we know this stuff, we don't need to overthink the scout, or do you dive in almost with more gusto?
I would say we definitely, I mean, we're focused in on the scout and everything, but at the end of the day, it comes down to on game day, like who's going to out grid each other, all that stuff. Like we know what they're going to do. They probably have an idea of what we're going to do. So it's really going to come down to kind of who performs in the game. And obviously for us, it does mean a little bit going against them again. We've lost twice and we're not happy about it. So we want to go out there and prove something, obviously. But so yeah, there's a little bit of both. Definitely don't want to overlook them either. Like they're a very challenging team and talented. So we obviously know going in, it's going to be a hard game. But so I would say, yeah, a little bit of mix of both of that. Yeah.
I would say part of our like mantra ideology this whole year has been like play JCU basketball. Don't let other people disrupt our style of play, but instead like don't let them do what they want to do, but like stay true to us. So I think that's still a huge focus going in, is like play what we know we're good at and play however we've been preparing all year. So just keeping that identity, but also the same thing, like respecting your opponent. I mean, they are ranked, we've lost to them twice. They're a very good, deep, talented team. So it's a little bit of like respecting them, but also like do what we do best and use that to obviously try to come away in the win column at the end of the day.
Beth, is there almost, this seems a little odd maybe to ask, but is it almost because you're still kind of fresh in the NCAC? This isn't like you're playing Mount Union or you're playing Baldwin Wallace or somebody you've been playing for years. You're kind of still fresh to the conference at Denison. While it may be the umpteenth time you're playing them this year, there is a little bit of still newness to it that keeps this as a bigger focus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think, we kind of talked at the beginning how we're taking this NCAA tournament as a tournament at a time. So like, we're at this neutral site playing this outstanding team. And I think that's kind of just where we're trying to stay locked into, is like, yes, this is a conference game, but no, this is the NCAA Sweet 16, and both of us, Denison and ourselves, here for the first time, and we're just trying to keep making history. So I think that I'm sure Denison's thinking the same way, is like, we just got to find a way to get to Saturday. And even like to your point, being new in this conference, it's not like, I'll just go ahead and say it, that BW rivalry that's been around in every single sport for the past 40 whatever years. There's newness to it to build that rivalry. So I think that this game's the start of it, but I don't think it has the meaning of a Sweet 16 game. It doesn't have that overwhelming history of that build up like a BW, but it has to Carly's point, it has the John Carroll history to it that we're trying to protect. So I think that's what makes it a big game more than proving a point or, things like that. I think it's more just that we're trying to stay in our mentality on that side of things.
Carly, I'm curious, obviously a number of seniors on this team, a lot of experience. This is the first ever berth at this point. The men's program's been here. It's stolen a lot of headlines over the years. Now you're getting those headlines. This is your program that you've helped get to this juncture and make history with. What's that mean to you? What's that mean to your class?
I think it means a lot for the university. It means a lot for all of the women who played for John Carroll before, who have been very talented and tried to get to this spot. It means a lot for, incoming recruits and such. But I think it's just a reflection of our team and our chemistry and how well we play together. I was talking to someone after a game on Saturday, and he was saying that we're a really hard team to beat because we look like we're having so much fun out there. And anytime anyone scores, it's like you're celebrating for them. And I think that's super special. And I think that like making it to the Sweet 16 and hopefully beyond is just a reflection of how special this group is and how much like we push each other, but we are like so proud of each other and just want everyone to do great.
Ava, somewhat similar question, but just talk to me about this senior group that you all have, that the growth that has come, the challenges that you've faced, how you guys have improved as a program. We know it's not about coaching. We know it's all about the players. How has it evolved in your time there? And selfishly, is this what you all expected at the start of the year?
I would say so. I mean, coming from freshman year to now, like we've been through it all. Obviously, a couple of the seniors have been here all 4 years. Carly and a few others came in our sophomore, junior year or so, but they've been through it all together. Like coming into this senior year, like we are a class, we're all together. I think we all complement each other very well. Everyone has their strengths that we all build off each other, which is why we're so successful. But yeah, as a senior class, I really think we've really kind of set this program up for where it's now and where it's going to go to. Obviously, a lot of freshmen on the team. So just definitely a lot of leadership, but overall the chemistry, everything kind of like Carly said, it's all been great. And like I said, at the beginning of this year, would I've expected to be here? I was kind of just thinking one game at a time. So I didn't have really an end goal. My goal was to win the conference, I'll be honest. So, and wherever that takes us, which we're here now. So I'm just enjoying the ride and being in the moment. Obviously, this is kind of the last, this is it. So we're just taking it one day at a time. But like I said, it really is, it's awesome.
Beth, we talked at the beginning of the year about what it was to take over your alma mater, being your 6th year, trying to change what this program has been. You have a senior class that was 13-13 2 consecutive years, and now, boom, we're into the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. We're at, we're closing in on 30 wins, to be completely honest. We're that much further along, even after last year's 19-win campaign. This is exactly how you drew it up, right?
No and yes. I'm going to be completely honest. I had that year with Heffington and Nagy where we fell short in the NCAA tournament, the second round. And when we were recruiting, it was really like trying to find pieces to replace them because we knew if we could find someone similar, and they decided to trust the process and grow, which we did. Ava, Carmen, Kaylee McKinney, who committed right away. And then we bring in Carly, we bring in a Gracie, we bring in a Dalen, and they figured out a way to replicate what was the standard, was that national championship, that ranking, that regional, topness. And yeah, they're different. There's no player the same, but I remember Ava, recruiting Ava specifically, we had a plan for what our 4 years could look like. And yeah, there was some ugliness there that we didn't want and we didn't like, but she really has trusted the process and grown her game each year. She's added something new. That's why we're at these wins, and then to Carly's point, like they are willing to celebrate one another. Ava and Gracie broke a record this year, and then Ava broke it after. And so they broke each other's records. And I mean, the smile on each of their faces for the first time it's the reason, we're winning. I've been saying culture to Ava for 4 years, Carly for 2.5, and it's what I believe in. I believe in having fun. I believe in culture. Like that's why my team went to the NCAA tournament. That's why Hef's team and Liv's team went to the NCAA tournament, is because they truly enjoyed basketball, but being around one another.
Before we talk about just the weekend in general, we've got the ladies here, so let's embarrass them a little bit. Ava's your leading scorer, 14.5 points a game, shoots 37%, pulls down 7.5 boards a game, which is a team high. 31 steals on top of all of that, also 47 assists. Carly's is playing right along with the same game. 9.7 points a game, 6.5 boards per game, 55 steals, 69 assists. And we haven't even talked about Gracie, you bringing her up, but she's 14-1 and contributes in those same categories. Statistically, on paper, on all of those, obviously that all stands out. What do they do that maybe we don't appreciate unless we really dive in?
What do we miss that we don't when we don't dive in?
No, I'm saying what would we miss? That we see the stats, but what are the intricacies that we don't maybe fully appreciate?
Yeah, I think there are 3 names stand out to me, and that's Carmen, Kaylee, and Nikki Finazzo, and Brooke Lobb. I mean, I can talk about everybody individually, but I think those 4 do a lot of like kind of underground, the behind the scenes work, especially Nikki and Kale who come off the bench for us. When they come off the bench, we use the word, level up, and it's that defensive, it's that pace. But I think that they've said this after big games, like their quiet points, their quiet steals. When we beat Ohio Wesleyan, there was actually a play where Nikki Finazzo chased someone down and tipped the ball out and almost secured it and got a layup. And it was just like, I knew in that moment we were going to win that game because of how urgent she was. Like there was almost no benefit to doing it. And she was the only one that like really just like took off and leveled up her gear and got there. So like there's just moments like that. Brooke Lobb makes some crazy passes. I'm not sure how she finds Ava or sees Ava to get her a 3 off. And you should see the clap and the point that comes from Brooke Lobb when she gets that assist. So, and then Kaylee McKinney just, coming off the bench, and these Carly and Kayla are undersized posts, have really big challenges in these conference games. They're going against 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", very talented players. And I think that we've held some of the best post players in the conference to some of their lowest scores. And that's all just because I'm asking them to basically give their bodies to the game and, recovery after, because that's the only way to get it done. And Ava used the word before, grit. The grittier team is going to win. And when we have all those players in the mix willing to do it, not everyone gets the collab, not everyone gets the graphic, but they all reap the rewards. And that's exactly what we want to do.
Ava, you lead the team in scoring. So what's your perspective of your teammates as the one who probably touches the ball a lot more than others or gets a lot more of the defensive attention as well, but on both sides of the floor? What's your perspective of your teammates?
I was gonna say, I've kind of talked about this in a lot of interviews, but this year, especially like you said, Carly, Gracie, even like Kaylee, other people, Nikki, averaging almost some double digits. Gracie obviously is in double digits, but all those people being able to step up and score, like that's allowed me this year to get those touches, and for teams not to just be able to focus on me, which I know they obviously probably is a focus, but when other people step up, like they have to have a hand up on Gracie when she's shooting. You can't leave her open, because if they want to double team me, Gracie's going to go ahead and shoot and score. So like they have to pick and choose somebody. And then we have our post players, Kaylee, and Carly down there, where I'm going to send it into them and they're going to do a drop step or whatever move they want, they're going to score. So we have a lot of threats on the outside and the inside. And then you have Nikki, Brooke, and Carmen, who are all drivers. So we have every single aspect that you can ask for in the game of people who can score. So that's helped me get more touches and better touches, be more patient, knowing, okay, they're going to score and then I'm going to get my opportunity because they did this. So this year that's been great, just having other people to step up. And defensively, yeah, so teams just have to work to figure out a way to stop all of us now, which is why we're where we are now. So,
yeah. Carly, same question from your vantage point, being the third leading scorer. So you're watching players like Ava get that attention maybe a little bit more than yourself. What's your perspective of the floor?
I mean, I think it's so well earned from them. I think, we have a lot of great players on the team, and kind of what we were saying, what makes our team so special is the team ball. I mean, they score a lot, but they're not the only people who touch the ball. We have a lot of people with high assists. We have a lot of people setting screens. And for me, I'm like, I especially know how they play and like what sort of shots they're getting up. And so to just be able to like find that, like, okay, I know here, if I set this down screen, she's popping up, she's hitting it, and then I'm immediately crashing for the boards. And if she's missing, I'm getting the board and putting it back up and getting like 2 points right there. So just like being able to tell each other's playing style and just knowing when people are going to shoot the ball, when they're going to pass, it just helps everybody involved. And kind of as Ava said, when they have really big shooting games, then teams have to step up hard on the outside, and then that opens up the paint more for me, for Kale, for some of our drivers, for Carmen's little midi pull. So it's really, the better that they do, the easier that the rest of people's lives are. So, and again, that's why we're so good this year, is kind of we all complement each other. And if someone's kind of having an off game, someone else steps up. And even if, say, I'm not scoring a lot one game, then maybe I'm fighting really hard down low in the post on defense, or setting screens, or finding someone who's open. So it just makes you feel good about, your teammates and yourself when you can see like every single person contributing.
Appreciate the insight, ladies. Before I let you go, Beth, tell me about the weekend at least. Obviously, taking on a conference foe, but in southwestern Virginia, at Washington and Lee, a little bit different. But tell us about just the logistics and everything you guys had with this weekend and getting down there.
Yeah, we came down Wednesday. They all went to class Wednesday morning. We came, we practiced at school. We hit the road, stopped for dinner, got to the hotel, and I think everyone was probably asleep within the hour. Travel is really exhausting, and that's something we've learned this year with the amount of trips we've done, but that goes back to we're built for this, we can do it. So then, they had their morning together here with a nice breakfast. We had a great practice at Washington. It's a beautiful university, amazing little town that it's around. And now we're heading out to a great Italian feast, hopefully. And then once again, I don't think I'll be doing room checks. I think that my senior grandma class will be hitting the bed early. I might have to tell my freshmen to quiet down a couple times. And then we go into shoot around tomorrow and we prepare for a fight Friday and do whatever it takes to get to Saturday. But to Ava's point, we stay where our feet are, one thing at a time. And I just hope that we keep enjoying each other's company. And, while the seniors are playing like it's their last game, they're also building a culture and creating memories, hopefully that the underclassmen are taking in, because it's their turn then to continue the legacy that this class has put on.
Yeah, I won't dare ask about what's on the other side of the ledger, as it were. Is it like Mary Slicer or anybody like that? Because I know the answer. I've been doing this job long enough. No one's looking at it. Denison's a focus. Ladies, before I let you go, curious, what are your academic pursuits? What do you hope to do when basketball will come to a close at some point? Are you even thinking about maybe going overseas and playing, or is it right into whatever post-life there is?
My current plan is to become a middle school or high school math teacher, which actually while we're down here, I've started doing applications and submitted one today. So definitely looking at the future, as well as obviously excited for tomorrow's game. But so I'm looking to be a teacher, which I'm really excited about.
I got my undergrad in finance and I'm pursuing my MBA right now. And kind of like Ava, also looking to the future, studying for my SIE exam on Monday as I'm going into wealth management industry. So, we're very studious.
Yeah, they're the definition of student athletes. All these kids are. All the definition. They're like, Coach, can we go to class Wednesday morning? I'm like, sure. Then we will leave. So they're prepped on both sides for sure.
There's a reason we emphasize YD3, right? And why we emphasize in Division III, it's about student athletes.
Absolutely.
Even if my student side was not nearly as studious.
Same.
I will shine a light on everybody who figured out how to do it far better than I. Ladies, congratulations. That is absolutely outstanding, and good luck with whatever that is when that comes to a close. Congratulations on what this has become. Win or lose, you've gotten to the program somewhere where your coach couldn't get it. Did I say that out loud, Beth? I'm sorry.
That's very true. I told them, I said, no one's ever done it. You got to do it. So they did.
They did. So congratulations. Really impressive. Looking forward to seeing some really fun games on Friday and Saturday, no matter how they turn out. I know it'll sting whenever it ends if it doesn't end with a championship. But I will ask Beth quickly, has there been any thought about the fact that if you get through the weekend, all you got to do is go a little further down I-81?
I mean, there's always the positivity jokes that we are always talking about, and we knew how lucky we are with the pod that we got and the direction we're going and getting to go against someone we know. But at the end of the day, you can't even think or talk until you get through one tournament at a time. And I'm trying to stay real locked in there, so I'm not gonna let you rile me up, but I am super, super excited to take on Denison Friday and, just show everybody, one, how great our conference is, and two, how locked in John Carroll is.
I tried. I had to try.
Yeah.
Ladies, I'll let you get to dinner. Congratulations. Thanks so much for finding some time to chat with us today. I really appreciate it. Beth knows this, so we'll let her start, but we do want to hear from all three. We always give guests the final word on this show in case we missed anything. Any final thoughts that you may have that you want to share with those who may be tuned in? And because Beth's familiar, we let her at least open it up.
I'll open it up just like on that D3 comment you made. I want to thank you for your coverage. I love following all the D3 trackers and the D3 brackets and the D3 percentages. I mean, I think this year more than ever, it's just been a really cool to see. And as a program who, scrimmaged D2 teams at the beginning of the year, I think that the D3 role is such a special place, and the basketball is just insanely good. So I want to thank you for, keeping it so serious and so realistic, and allowing players like this and other players that you've talked to have the opportunity to have a platform on social media, because not every program gets to say that, and not every level gets to say that. So I think that that's my comment I want to leave us with here. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the ladies got to go, but I appreciate that, Beth. Thank you.
I would say I'm kind of going off that, just thankful for my experience at John Carroll, thankful for you taking the time to interview us, and everybody else who has done that as well. Obviously, D3 definitely focuses on the student athlete part, and I'm just grateful for that experience to be able to balance both. And I love John Carroll, and go Blue Streaks.
Yeah, I guess along that same line, very grateful to be here with university, our teammates, coaching staff, training staff. As she said, we're some old ladies, so really the ones who are keeping us healthy and helping us throughout this whole ride.
Well said. I agree with you. By the point I got in my career, I totally agree with every part of that statement. Ladies, again, congratulations. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to catching up with you down the road. In the meantime, at least when it does come to an end, enjoy what you had, and enjoy the rest of life. And don't be a stranger. Come back and visit.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
It is Beth Edwards and Carly and Ava and the ladies of John Carroll joining us here on the Hoopsville Hotline.
Amazing. Thank you.
What a great conversation. I accidentally cut off their thank yous at the end. Thanks to the John Carroll women's basketball program for joining us on Hoopsville. That was a lot of fun. Good luck to them as they take on Conference foe Denison, which is still weird for me to say. I'm still so used to them in the OAC. But they'll take on down there at Washington and Lee. Of course, remember on the women's side, it's a normal sectional weekend, right? On the men's side, it's these one-off games. But on the women's, it's a sectional weekend. When we are done on the women's side, it will be 4 teams left vying for a national championship the following weekend. It's kind of wild. Not wild. We don't get these enough to make them familiar, as it were. And of course, the last time we did this on the men's side was 2020. And we didn't even get, at this point, on this night, I was already talking about the fact that we weren't playing any more games. When we come back, we'll head up to Maine. Bates women's basketball continues on, thanks to a dramatic opening weekend. And now they've got a tough foe ahead of them in the Scranton Royals. And something tells me they're not afraid of them. We'll talk to Allison Montgomery coming up. You listen to Hoopsville, presented by D3Hoops.com from the On the Road WBCA studios.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Coach of the Year, Administrator of the Year, All-America Team, Wade Trophy. The WBCA doesn't just honor coaches, but players, administrators, and much more. The WBCA strives to honor those who have contributed to the advancement of women's basketball. Celebrate the present, honor the past, look to the future.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
The national... Welcome back to Hoopsville, everybody. As we continue on, I know there's that background noise. The AC unit is in this room, and we're not doing the show from the second part of my room because that's the bedroom and bathroom. I chose this hotel specifically because we had another workroom. I just didn't realize it had an AC unit. So I apologize for that. And of course, the nice microphone we brought, well, it doesn't work in this setup. But we're learning stuff as we go on the road, are we not? If you got questions for us, email us, hoopsville@d3sports.com. You can tweet us at D3Hoopsville or hashtag Hoopsville. We're also on the live stream. If you want to chime in there, we'll pay attention. We're on all the other socials at the bottom of the screen. We'll do our best to pay attention to those. And don't forget, buymeacoffee.com/Hoopsville. That's buymeacoffee.com/Hoopsville. Not because I don't love coffee, because it's a way of supporting our show and our work throughout the regular season, but also into the off season. We'll certainly be talking a lot about that. I have promised an off-court podcast, and I will come through with that promise. I can't wait to have conversations with individuals in an in-depth kind of way, and that's going to be a bulk of our off season, but we'll continue that then into next season as well. Speaking of women's basketball, we'll continue the topic there. Bates women's basketball got a huge win on Saturday, knocking off Smith. We're so used to Lynn Hersey and her squads making Final Fours or at least the second weekend of the tournament that nothing against Bates. When you saw Smith was up by double digits in that game, you kind of went, yeah, okay, saw that coming. No disrespect to Bates, but they've done this before, has Smith. They've gone to Maine and upset the home team. Then Bobcats said, we're not done yet. Maybe they showed their claws. I don't know. Some pun can work in there, I'm sure. But Bates came storming back, knocked off Lynn Hersey, sent her home early. I don't know what Lynn Hersey home early really is like, but we'll find out someday. Joining us on the Hoopsville Hotline to talk about that, the team, the season, the NESCAC, and everything. And then, of course, what they've got ahead of them in the Scranton Royals is Allison Montgomery joining us on the Hoopsville Hotline. Coach, good to see you. Congratulations.
Hi, Dave. Great to see you. Thanks so much. Great to be here.
Appreciate you finding
chat about all this fun stuff you just mentioned.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. We didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier this year, as we got to talk to the mother-daughter power couple that is at Bates. This team, the NESCAC felt. Let me start there. The NESCAC felt weird this year. I think we got very used to the top of the conference being really, really good, and maybe it took a step back. But still, Bowdoin, still Bates, still some good programs have come out to the NCAA tournament and gotten it done. So tell me, what was the NESCAC like this year from your vantage point, and what were we maybe seeing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually love where the NESCAC is at right now. I just think we've seen it happen sort of, it was happening maybe in more gradual steps, and now we're kind of just really seeing the parity across the league, I think. Which is really, really nice, really, really fun, really, really competitive. I mean, obviously the league has been competitive for a really long time, but also really top heavy. And so, yeah, it's just nice to see that parity. I just think you're seeing programs continue to evolve, and just with some great recruiting and, some great coaching. So I think, it's really, really been fun to see. And yeah, I mean, I still think some, there's obviously been some, top 20, top 25 programs still, being really present across in terms of like national strength in our conference. But I think every night when you go out and compete in the NESCAC, just that level of competition is really, really tough. So I think we're just seeing parity, honestly. And I think it's just a testament to the strength of the conference.
I think I talked to the two of them after the trio of Maine games between yourselves, Bowdoin and Colby. You lost in double overtime to Bowdoin.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just a spectacular week of basketball in December. And I remember kind of coming away from that just thinking, okay, listen, we know it's good. What does it mean from here? Then you lost to Bowdoin again, 62-49 in mid-January. And I think everybody, and Bowdoin lost to Calvin. And so everyone's like, well, what's going on? How do we put everybody on a barometer, as it were, like on a stage, and figure out who's where and when? Mm-hmm. Your only other loss was Connecticut College by 5. In all intents and purposes, you had a really, really good season, but it felt, even maybe now, considering your ranking, a little off the radar? Is that fair? Is that a good thing maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, the best way I know how to answer that respectfully is like, I don't really care about the radar, right? Like, I think like, yeah, I mean, it's a long season, and I think every single team, every single year is so unique, and has its stuff to grow through, both literally in terms of its basketball development and people filling roles and making plays. So all the X's and O's basketball stuff, and then also just the psychology of a team each year. So I think for sure, yeah. And I think, yeah, I think anyone who's, been around for a minute, certainly as you have, it's like stuff happens in a season, and you have your kind of ups and downs. And I think it's all part of the wonderful growth of competing and coaching. But yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you for sure that kind of, yeah, although like great record, great season, maybe a little bit off the radar, but I think we've had a great stretch and really feeling some great momentum. And, obviously really, really excited to capture a conference championship this year, and just excited to continue this run a little deeper into the tournament.
I want to talk about that stretch in just a moment, because I do find the since that Connecticut College loss, some fascinating results. But I want to back up slightly, not that we're dwelling on the season, but what I found interesting was kind of who you faced this year. And some of them maybe not having earth-shattering years, but you played a large variety. WPI, Husson, Endicott, Southern Maine, an overtime game, a Southern Maine team that is clearly, I don't want to say back, because I think it takes some longevity for there, but certainly familiar with what we're used to, right? Helps to have a Maine Orono grad, but they're 27-2. New England, Colby Bowden, as we mentioned. You played Central, Emmanuel, who's always a tough opponent, and certainly was in the NCAA tournament. Roger Williams, Hunter, who has one of the best players in Division III this year. Mass Dartmouth, who has perennially been very good. Maine Farmington, who kind of had this explosion of a year, both men and women, by the way.
Yeah.
And then that will get us to the end here in a moment, the rest of the teams here. Again, wide collection, wide variety. Obviously, the NESCAC scheduling allows that. Did you have a mentality going in to try and find all these different types of programs to play this year?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think scheduling is an art that makes all coaches a little bit crazy. And then I think it's so nuanced, and it's so intricate, and fitting all the pieces together in that puzzle. And and then there's a lot of years where we're like, oh, I nailed that. And then there's years where you're like, what in the heck was I thinking? Right. And you can never quite predict it. So it is a maddening, nuanced art, scheduling is. But I think our intention is always, I mean, like you said, in the NESCAC, we play most teams just once, and we have space to kind of get a little creative with scheduling when we can. So the strength of schedule already with the NESCAC is pretty good, but our intention is to want to feel as prepared as we can for postseason, even if that means like we might take some lumps, or even if that means they might not be the prettiest games or the most dominant games, or we're winning them by, double digits. We really want to feel prepared. So definitely always our intention to have a really high strength of schedule. Luckily, like geographically, we can kind of figure that out in New England, to keep it pretty competitive. But that's something we really talk about a lot with our team in terms of, going into every game feeling like, we're going to play teams that are going to have long postseason runs, that are going to win their conference championship. So that's definitely our intention. Like I said, I wish I could say I could predict and nail it every single year. But it is really hard to do, but that is our intention. Yeah.
Well, and it gets you to this, after the Conn College game, you play Tufts, 500 Tufts, pretty good.
Yep.
Beat them by 18. Then you played Hamilton, who was a 500 team this year, and you have an overtime game with them. They came ready to play. They beat you by 3. That gets you kind of into the conference tournament at that point, and you play Amherst. Of course, it's GP Gramacki, right? Mm-hmm. Saw them in Vegas. And I would say they're a good team, but I don't know if they were ready for prime time, but they still won 18 games.
Yeah.
And you beat them 80-68, and then you knock off, I always get a kick out of it, your alma mater, Bowden, for the conference title game after they beat you twice this year, and you beat them by 5. Before we get to the NCAA tournament, that run there felt like just the right thing coming off the Kahn College loss to kind of give this program a renewed sense of confidence?
Yeah, I think in the moment, right, when you have your highs and lows of a season, you kind of experience it for what it is, and you try to, but I think sometimes then looking back, you think at the way that just sort of pushed you forward, or the way that things stunted you. And I definitely think I'm not a coach who believes like you have to have a loss to learn things. I don't believe that. But I do think sometimes it can be helpful for the psychology of your team and just to refocus. And I do think, it stings in a way that maybe if you sneak one out with a not so pretty win, it doesn't sting the same way, at least for players. It does for coaches, but maybe not players. So yeah, I think just trying to focus on like all that stuff, kind of it unfolds as it's supposed to. If you really have faith in the process and really have faith in your players and their commitment, which we absolutely do. So, I was hoping that, Kahn College is a really, really solid, I think, up and coming kind of team. They have a great freshman. And so, they absolutely, of course, deserve that win. All credit to them. And I think at the same time, after that win, I said, oh my gosh, I want to send them each a thank you card as we go down the stretch here, just to kind of reignite something in our team. So, just taking that for what it was. And I think it did push our team forward and sort of refocus what we were trying to accomplish down the stretch, and it's a long season. And I think even the best teams and the most focused players can sort of, have challenges getting through that in a given season. So, definitely propelled us, I think, to make our way through a really tough gauntlet in the NESCAC playoffs. I think no matter how well you're positioned, I was talking with another coach in our league, and I was like, I don't want to play the 11th team in our conference, honestly, in the quarterfinals. It's like, it's just postseason is a whole new thing, a whole new season. So, I think really, really happy with our team, how our team has risen to the occasion and really figured out how to perform their best when it's mattered most.
What blew me away, it's only the second NESCAC title in program history. You forget how much Bowdoin has been a thorn, how much Amherst before that was a thorn, and sprinkle in a Williams or whomever else was having really good seasons in this mixed, and obviously, miraculous seasons outside of that. I'm curious, what was the emotion like for this program to, I guess, for the players, it's 4 years or 3 years or whatever of pent up emotion, but for alums and everybody else, it's eons of pent up emotion. What was that like when you guys got that title?
Oh my gosh, it was elation. It was so great. I think, our seniors this year, the year that we won our first conference championship, our current seniors were incoming freshmen. So they kind of watched that happen for our program and have had their eyes on it since then. And so really, really special. I mean, for obviously everyone in our program, but our seniors who have been so committed to that and wanting to really capture that for the legacy of our program. Just for our alums who are so proud and so excited, and some of the friendships I've developed in my time at Bates, who, when I was a player at Bowdoin, the women that I competed against at Bates, who those were great years for Bates, great years, like Sweet 16 years, and really went deep into the tournament. But Bowdoin got those championships each year. So I've even developed some fun friendships with Bates alums who are like, yes, we've like rectified the Bates Bowdoin championship. So all that interconnectedness is really, really, really fun. And I think it's as much as like executing and having the players and doing the thing on the court as it is just kind of overcoming those mental hurdles, I think, in terms of how we think about perennially good teams, and I know you mentioned Bowdoin and Amherst, and Tufts has won their fair share. They've had great stretches and a bunch of Final Four appearances. So I think just wanting to, continue to get over that mental hurdle and to really consistently have our women think about themselves as contenders every single year, which I do think our group has thought like that, certainly as we built towards our first championship. And now as we've captured our second, I think they've thought about themselves in that conversation since then. But I think just capturing it just solidifies that and gives them that confidence to propel them forward.
Yeah, Trinity too. I mean, there's so many others. Yeah, I mean, just have carried the NESCAC flag. And I guess the other side of this is remind me, Elsa Delario, and you're talking about that group was the ones, they were freshmen when you won it last, right? Do I have that right?
No, they were going to be incoming, so they were seniors.
Right,
Like they were
that's what it
committed
was.
recruits.
Right.
Yeah, but they hadn't. So this was their first. Yeah.
So they
win.
hadn't gotten it, but there was, but for their 4 years, there's been that expectation too. So that emotion, I'm sure, was pretty raw.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've been in the NCAA tournament, 3 of their 4 years. So certainly like postseason accomplishments are not new to them. And we've played in the championship game in their time. So it's been right there for sure during their whole career. So to actually capture it, it was incredibly emotional and so much joy for all the work that they put in and the vision they've had to see it come to fruition was awesome.
And then that win, if you listen to the national committee, apparently really threw a monkey wrench into their work. I mean, yes, we understand it. It leapfrogged you guys into the top 16, giving you a chance to host the opening weekend. And back to the question I was saying about the variety of teams you play, you get Merchant Marine. And when I saw that, I kind of went, oh, that's a sneaky tough game because – in my opinion, that's an under the radar duo that they've got inside, and nothing against Delario. She can't guard both of them at the same time.
Right.
So I looked at that and went, oh, it's not a trap. It's not a trap game by any stretch of the imagination, but that's a toughie.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, when they're done with that, if they get the win, they probably have Smith on the other side. Like, this was a bonkers weekend when I looked at it. I can only imagine what you started thinking, at least when you started going through tape.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Dave. I appreciate that nod there.
Why? Because I just gave you another heart attack.
No, I think you're totally right. I mean, I think it's like I've had enough experience with this where, you go into it no matter what, knowing like every single opponent you're going to draw, you got to take really seriously and it's going to be a battle. I was like, wow, when I started looking at Merchant Marine, I was like, wow, this is a really tough opponent. And, I had some experience coaching at a service academy. So I certainly gave our team a soliloquy about this is what you're facing. And these are what these women are choosing to represent. And this is for real. So they're coming here to give everything. So we knew we were up against it in terms of their ability. I mean, they definitely were really, really tough. We made a really big run at them, but they made a really big run back. And so, but that's great. Like, again, to be tested in that way, and we were ready for that, but that was a tough first round game. And then, to have Smith sent to us too, I was like, okay, all right. And then if we get out of that, we're going to head right down to Scranton. All right, let's go.
I hadn't even gone there
we're
yet.
Ready for the gauntlet. We love it. So yeah, it was great. And I mean, just great opportunity to play such an established program that we have so much respect for in Smith. I mean, obviously just the legacy, what they've done consistently. I think Lynn is a rock star, and so much respect for their program. So really cool opportunity. And we were just kind of like really excited that we had captured that championship for a lot of reasons, but also because it gave us the opportunity to do that in the comfort of our own gym.
And it probably didn't take much to remind everybody, you go back to the second weekend of the tournament last year and they knock off Bowdoin at Morrill Gymnasium.
Yes.
Before then beating Gustavus Adolphus in that. So it doesn't take much to go, hey, by the way. But again, you come from double digits down. Like you guys, your squad could have easily wrapped it up and went, here we go again. It's Smith. It's the big old beast. There's no way we can do it. What was the turning point? What clicked?
I think we have this really unique group who is, I mean, a little bit of it is about maturity, but I think particularly in our seniors, they just have a real ability to be present. And we talk about that a lot. I mean, I think that's why I love competition. I think that's what's awesome about competition is it forces you to be present, which is harder and harder these days to be in the moment. But they really do that. And I think they've invested in the values that we've set, which again, right, these can all be really cliche things that we set and talk about in sports. But just the way they've showed up consistently. And our phrase this year has been one at a time. And that has been, whether it be possession, whether it be game, whether it be, whatever you're managing, to sort of break it down into digestible chunks and be like, right, we can take action on X, Y, and Z, and let's do that and see what happens and see what happens. And they just really bought into that. And I think they've had this really good balance of like respecting opponent, but also really believing in themselves. And so, but it was a really, really cool thing to watch them truly do that, and to just take it moment by moment and really rise and just make the plays they needed to make. But, we've been down before and we had clawed back. So they had that experience. But, in my head, I'm like, we haven't been down to Smith by 18 points. And so knowing that was going to take a little something extra special, but they focused on one at a time, and suddenly it's a tie game and the clock's expiring and we're going to overtime. And we've also had a lot of overtime experience this year. And I think once we got to that place, again, led by our senior leadership and maturity, they kind of made a decision, I think, about how they were going to show up for that.
That game in overtime did not play out as I expected. I expected to be back and forth, and suddenly it was just like, no, this game is ours. It's over. We're done.
Yeah.
Yes, you have Scranton ahead. I'm going to ask it in this way. You have 4 seniors on this squad. The one that gets obviously all the head times is Delario, but two of your top 3 scoring players are seniors in Spolter as well at 9.2 points a game, with Delario leading the way at 13.8 in her 7 boards. And you have Sarah Hughes as well. How does that trio, do you think, match up with Scranton? And we'll talk defensively in a minute, but offensively, what do you think that they can do with their teammates to maybe pull off another win and play in a very quiet long center the next day?
Yeah. I think the story of our season has been, we have, our key players, leading scorers, of course, but we've had different women step up in different moments. And actually, Maya Hicks, one of our juniors, was incredibly key in that Smith win. She went 5 for 7 from 3 and hit 2 really key ones. And Sophie Spolter, really, really scored. So, I think we really rely on our depth in that way. We're a little small, so we play fast. We're small with a big center, so Elsa draws a lot of that attention, and she has been really great in terms of like her assist to turnover ratio. She draws doubles, she draws triples. So to kind of manage that pressure and to be able to create opportunities for others who can knock down shots has been really, really key. So even if she's not having a big scoring night, against Smith, they were really, really prepared and keyed in on her and Sarah, of course, as our key scorers. We knew that would happen. And it's sort of like, okay, well, who's going to fill those shoes? Who's going to step up? And what I would say about Sophie Spolter is, I don't think I've ever coached a woman with like clearer eyes than that woman, who's just like, no matter what the adversity is, no matter what, I would be like, there's a giant mountain right here, Soph, and we are going to climb it in 3.3 seconds. She would be like, yes, let's go. She's just so up for the challenge. And she said today in practice, she mentioned something about her size, like about a bad matchup. And she's like, oh, I'm kind of small. I'm like, so if you're the tallest woman on this team, she is just like, had the biggest heart, and she's all in. And that makes up for so much. That gives you the inches you need, maybe if you don't have them in literal inches, or, whatever it may be. So, she's 2 feet in, and she's willing to do anything. And if we were tracking it, I would say she leads the country in charges taken. So she is just like, she's willing to do all those things. So she stepped up really, really big. And I think she guides us like in her belief in what we're doing. When I think about that Smith comeback and just the way that she takes the court, the women really get behind her and are willing to sort of walk into any battle, no matter what those chances look like. So that's really given us a lot of the inches that we've needed in really close and tough games.
Scranton, let me give a few headlines with a purpose. Undefeated, number 2 in the country, and receiving first place votes. NYU is not the unanimous pick. A lot of people think they're better. Team that's beat Pitt in an exhibition for Scranton, but still beat Pitt, led by Casey Cranston with her 18.5 points a game and they outscore their opponents by 40 while putting up 82 of them themselves. How do you tell the team all of that, but then tell them, forget all of that. Here's how we're going to beat them.
Yeah, what an opportunity. I don't tell them to forget it. I think we've addressed it all really head on because, right, I want us to control the psychology of that. Like, I don't want to ignore any of that. That's all very valid and very true. And so we've talked about that really, really directly. And so then just talked about the opportunity. And I think, if anyone's up for that kind of challenge, this is certainly the team of any coach, every team I've ever coached. This is the team that's up for that and is sort of willing to, yes, acknowledge that, but also just be really guided by us and what we do. And just being like, yeah, we're going to take it one possession at a time and it's over when the buzzer sounds and we're going to execute our stuff. I just think they've been really good at that all year. So I think we are the women for the job to take a stab at that tomorrow. And it's funny, I was actually sharing with them some personal experience. I was like, look, y'all, I had the experience as an athlete, which still leaves a little hole in my heart of playing for an undefeated team, being number one in the country and playing and losing in the national championship to a team that had like 6 losses on the year. So I think kind of drawing on that experience and just the pressure that you carry as an undefeated team. Sometimes you just don't know. So I'm trying to get our team to manipulate the psychology in their head that's going to be the most effective for them. Obviously, we don't know anything about the psychology of the women on the Scranton team, but we just want it to sort of guide us in the way that's going to allow us to be most effective. So that's really all we can do is kind of control us in that situation. And yeah, no doubt we are facing an incredibly talented team, just so much firepower. Oh my gosh, offensively. So yeah, but just trying to be prepared as possible and really excited for the opportunity.
Only one team wins the national championship at the very end. We have 3 undefeated teams in women's basketball. 2 of them, at the very least, will not be undefeated at the end, right? So someone's going to knock them off.
Right.
If we're all watching your game, opening 5 minutes, let's say, hit the first media break, whatever the case may be, what will we see in those 5 minutes to understand maybe things are going Bates' way, or you're going to have to make some adjustments?
Yeah, I think taking care of the ball, like we really want to play with a lot of pace, but not at the expense of losing possession. So I think just really taking care of the ball is going to be important and playing with a lot of pace. And when we faced them last year, we sent them to the line so much. So just trying to be really disciplined defensively, and just having a good defensive game plan there, where we're kind of forcing them to finish tough shots as much as we can. And not putting ourselves in foul trouble and also not, giving them free money. So those are kind of some focuses, but it's going to be a battle to manage that for 40 minutes. So those are good things that we're thinking about early.
Yeah, just thanks for the reminder. Went back and checked 18 of 26 they were from the line. You guys only got there 8 times in that game.
Yeah, right. So really trying to shift that. We've talked about that stat, and otherwise statistically, we didn't feel like it was too lopsided in terms of like rebounding or, whatnot. And we even, we had 12 turnovers, which is pretty solid, but their one guard who's really good defensively had 9 steals. And so, we've talked a lot about that in terms of trying to manage that a little bit better. So yeah, trying to flip those stats a little bit.
If memory serves, Kaylee Romanowski, I don't think is on the team anymore, right? Is that right?
She is. Oh,
she is. Sorry, right. I was looking at somebody else.
So get me excited, Dave. Did she quit last night?
No, I know. Right? Oh, by the way, did you not get the memo? It made Twitter news. It was amazing. No, I've completely made that up in my head. I was thinking of somebody else that wasn't on the team. Familiar, and before I let you go, familiarity. You were there. So it's not like this is new to you, everybody, right? Like, you've been there. So some things could be working very much. This isn't daunting. This is feasible.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we absolutely have that mindset. And I think you're right. The familiarity, I think, is actually nice. I think both from a coaching perspective and also for our team. I think they're really excited to be back here. And like I said, to have another opportunity. So yeah, I don't feel that it's daunting. I feel like we're really excited.
I was trying to figure out who that person was. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. It's going to waste my lot of time.
Yeah.
Allison, appreciate all the time. Congratulations. Obviously, you're in Scranton.
Yes.
I know that already. I can see the Scranton sign in the background. No, I'm joking. Folks, don't go looking for anything. I'm making stuff up. I'm delirious. Appreciate the time. Congratulations on the season. Really impressive. Congrats on the NESCAC title and everything else that's come with it. And we now know that, Bates is clearly your first love, and Bowdoin is no longer. It's done and dusted.
Right.
But in the meantime, as always, we give the guests. Like I said, I'm done. The final chance to final thoughts. Any final thoughts you want to share with those tuned in?
No, just thanks as always for all the work you do to shed lots of light on D3 women's basketball. Really appreciate it, and appreciate being on, and tune in at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
I will definitely be tuned in tomorrow at 7. Congratulations again. Thanks for the time. Thanks for finding time
Thanks
on the
so
road.
much. Yes,
especially.
thank you.
And
Thanks,
we'll look forward to catching up with you down the road.
Okay, thanks so much.
She is Allison Montgomery joining us here from Bates. Appreciate her taking the time to do so. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Hood men's basketball on tap. Can't wait to talk to another team that's got a Robinson player on it. This is a wild story. More on Hoopsville when we come back. Plenty more ahead on a supersized edition of the show.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're d3hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
The National Association of Basketball Coaches is the nation's premier professional development and advocacy organization for basketball coaches at every level. The NABC strives to serve as the voice for coaches on national issues while advancing the core value of leadership, service, advocacy, education, and inclusion. To learn more about the NABC and to become a member, visit nabc.com and follow the NABC on social media at NABC1927. That's nabc.com or NABC1927 on social media.
It's on us to stop sexual assault
in any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
to stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Coach of the Year, Administrator of the Year, All-America Team, Wade Trophy. The WBCA doesn't just honor coaches, but players, administrators, and much more. The WBCA strives to honor those who have contributed to the advancement of women's basketball. Celebrate the present, honor the past, look to the future.
I used to never really talk, ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. and now everyone else is speechless.
It is raining outside. I just realized. Huh. Stand by. Welcome back to Hoopsville, everybody. It is. I just realized it is raining outside. First time it's been raining in Florida since I got here. In the meantime, I know I'm missing some wild weather back in my home. Tornado warnings up yesterday. And then today it was supposed to go from rain to snow. And it was 85 yesterday. I only say that to preface the fact that we're going to be going to that region here next. We had Hood men's basketball on the show a few weeks back, talking about how great a season they were having. They were trying, we didn't mention it, they were trying to go through the MAC Commonwealth undefeated, something that had never happened in Commonwealth history. It happened before Commonwealth and Freedom got their titles, and we're going back into the 90s. And it's happened a couple times on the Freedom side, but it never happened on the Commonwealth side. Well, it didn't work out, but that almost feels like it became a springboard of sorts, because Hood men's basketball maybe didn't get through conference play the way they wanted, but they are playing extremely well and had a barn burner of a win over Redlands on their home floor on Saturday to punch their ticket to this next round, where they've got a pretty good challenge ahead of themselves as well. So we went back to the well, as it were, to talk Blazer basketball. Chad Dickman joins us, and he brought along a player. Javon Yarborough joins us on the show. Gentlemen, thanks for finding the time, especially on the road with a busy schedule. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Chad, let's go back. We didn't talk about it, but you had a chance to do something impossible in the Commonwealth, and was it Albright, I think? Was it Albright that knocked? Albright seemed to have everybody's number at some point this season. But that also seemed like it kind of galvanized you guys a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing really well. And, you know, it was one of those things where obviously want to get through the conference season undefeated. But at the same time, we were kind of thinking, you know, would that put undue pressure on us going into the national tournament? Maybe getting a little too complacent. And in hindsight, might have been the best thing for us. You know, off our perch a little bit. Yeah, can't complain. Obviously, well late in the year. So yeah, that was a good game. It was a close game all the way through, and they ended up making more plays at the end. And yeah, it was maybe exactly what we needed, because we've been on a roll since then.
Yeah, but you also almost in the first round didn't even get to the second round. That first round game, I was a little bit nervous at one point. Had a back of a battle. Javon, going into the tournament game, just alone, we'll back up into the season. A little nervous? Were you guys feeling the pressure of being at home for a big tournament game and all of that, or what? Because I'll admit, I was nervous we were going to get an upset there in that first round.
No, we were really excited to host a tournament game. I mean, obviously, we had never even won a tournament game up until this year, and then to be able to host it, you know, it was a great feeling. We've had really great atmospheres this year, better than we've ever had. Students are more involved. A lot of staff are involved being at the games. Like, it's been great. And I think we were so confident because of just how well Coach gets us prepared. So, you know, we were excited.
And admittedly, the second half, you guys were in control. Vassar ended up, it was more about the first half where I got a little bit nervous, but that's because that's what I do. Albright was the one loss in the second half after losses to Christopher Newport and Johns Hopkins. And Chad, we talked about the resilience that this team had kind of developed in those two losses. Albright trips you up 104-98, and what was a fascinating game. What I also found fascinating is you guys started just scoring above 100 from there on. Like, it's like you had an offense that would dabble with 100. Sometimes it would be 80. Sometimes it would be 91. And against Christopher Newport, it was 79. It was on again, off again. But since that Albright game, except for the Vassar game, it's been nothing but 100-point games. What's changed? Has anything changed with the offense? It almost feels like you've uncorked something.
No, I don't think anything's changed. We were still doing the same things. I mean, we might have executed a little bit better. I think we defensively, I think we did a little bit better job maybe getting some turnovers and getting out quick on some live ball turnovers. But for the most part, nothing really changed. I mean, Vassar is a very good defensive team. And in the first half, like they jumped on us early, I think 17-8, 17-9. And, it was just one of those things where they came down ready to go. They were physical. They obviously well coached and play hard. And it just took a little bit of time maybe to get the jitters out a little bit, because like Javon said, it was a outstanding environment, packed house. And, once we kind of got into rhythm towards the end of the first half, and then starting the second half, I think there was a 17-0 run, late first half, early second half, where we kind of took control of the game. But yeah, I mean, as far as that went, they really did a good job and just kind of being physical and making us work for everything. And luckily, Karan Mallory came out and just had an unbelievable game. And he's had a couple of those games this year. And defensively, I thought was one of our better defensive games to date. So even in that low scoring for us, I think it was 84-71. We got the job done. And then obviously playing Redlands next, it was going to be a completely different type of game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Ryan Scott made sure to show up. He knew it was going to be a different kind of game between you guys and Redlands. Javon, let me get your thoughts on your teammates. I'm going to read a couple of notes I've gotten. Let's start with Karan Mallory. From your SID, he writes, work ethic, work ethic is his big thing. Countless times in the gym, I think I see him dribbling a ball with a grocery bag over top as he's walking into the gym. Garrett Cox battled injuries but has been available down the stretch. Gage Linton, whose brother was a star at Hood, has stepped up his sophomore year. Jude Hughesby, recruited by many but decided to go to Hood. You also have Cullen Robinson, who we talked a little bit about. His brother's playing at Mary Washington. You're getting a lot of the accolades, you're getting a lot of the awards, but it's a lot of those guys that I know makes it work. So from your perspective, what's it like to play with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I love all of those guys, and not just the ones you named, just the whole team, 1 through 16. I mean, there's guys on the bench who, you're not going to see their names in the box score sometimes, but the energy and the effort that they bring into practice, that's what really makes us great as a team. Something we really try to emphasize is, having great practices, because we know that's going to translate to the game. But I mean, the guys you named off, like, Karan, like you said, he's in the gym every single night. Cullen Robinson in the gym every single night. Jude Hughesby, Garrett Cox, like, those dudes do all the dirty work. I mean, they've held it down defensively down low all year, rebounding. Gage Linton plays like a madman. Like, Troy Fulton comes in, hits big shots. There's a couple games that if he didn't hit the shots he hits, like, we lose those games. So, I mean, all of those guys, everything that I'm doing, I give credit to all of them because they trust me, and so does my coaching staff. So we all trust each other. Like, I trust those guys just as much as I trust myself. And I think that's been really big to our success this year.
Obviously, what's also big to your success is you. Chad, tell me about Javon. Obviously, first year breaks, broken the assist and points program records. Is MAC Commonwealth Player of the Year, MAC Commonwealth Tournament MVP. He's won countless tip-off MVP or any. If you went to a tournament, he won the MVP for it. We'll make that simple. 1,000 points already, single season point holder, single season assist holder, as I said. And again, now a conference championship. Tell me about this guy. And by the way, he's only a junior, to anybody at home wondering if he's graduating anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, can't say enough good things about him. I mean, whether you just look at his season box score or, come to a game and just see just all the things he does to kind of make us go. Whatever's needed. I mean, he's had games this year where he's got any dribble he takes, another defender flying at him, and he's really kind of taking his game to the next level as far as getting guys open shots. He's had multiple games with double-digit assists, and it's the good thing about our team is we got 5 guys out there at all times that can shoot, pass, and handle it. And so it is hard to take him away and leave someone else open because we share the ball well. Our guys move well without the ball. They're very selfless, and so it's not we don't really have an attack where you can just cut the head off the snake and then and be good to go. We just have a lot of guys that can step up and hurt you. And he's done a phenomenal job of kind of picking and choosing when he needs to score and when he needs to get other guys involved. But yeah, I mean, just complete breakout year. I mean, we knew this year was going to be a big year for him. I don't think anyone knew it was going to be as big as it's been. Maybe him, but we knew he was going to be probably an all-conference type of player. And now with the way the season's going, I mean, there's no way you can talk about All-Americans and not include this guy.
Fair. I don't make all those decisions, but I can't disagree with that assessment. Ahead of you is Trinity. #1 team in the country. Best defensive team, usually. We're talking, when we talk about a defensive team that wins titles, it's Trinity, because that's what they did last year. But I'm going to compare something. You guys are 4th in the country in scoring at 95.9 points a game, 7th in field goal percentage at 49.5, 3rd in free throw percentage, so don't put them on the charity stripe, 79%, 11th in rebounding margin at a +9, 2nd in defensive rebounds per game at 31 per contest. Chad, I'm not a coach, but I know enough that you got a really good defensive team who likes low-scoring games going up against a really good offensive team who's got some stout offensive numbers. Something's going to have to give. How do you see this one breaking down?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of 2 immovable objects, and one's going to have to move on Saturday. So, we watched a lot of film on them, and they, deserve all the attention they get. I mean, they are physical. They play hard. They're deep. They rebound. They're athletic. They got, solid size. They don't turn the ball over much. They get a lot of steals. I mean, as impressive as our offensive metrics are, their defense is the same. And like you said, they have a pretty good offense as well. So, and it's not like they're doing it against cupcakes either. I mean, they're playing in one of the best conferences in the country, and so yeah, we'll have our work cut out for us. With the way we play, it'll probably be a little bit of an adjustment for them, just because I think we just play a different style than they're probably used to seeing. With that said, I mean, they're very well coached, obviously, and they've had a week to prepare. So it's not like we're going to go up there and catch them off guard by any means. But yeah, it should be an interesting contrast of styles. And again, like we know how good they are, but our guys are confident. We said it earlier this week, like, we're playing with house money right now. But that doesn't mean we're just going to show up and hope we win. We're going to, on the court like we're supposed to win. And, we can, pull it off.
Javon, I'm curious from your vantage point as a player who's going through the scout and looking at what the coaches are trying to give you and going through video yourself as you get ready. You just got off the win, as we mentioned, to a really good Redlands squad. Now you're going up against the defending national champs. How are you guys as players approaching this?
Honestly, for us, it's just another game. I mean, obviously it's a bigger stage, but we weren't supposed to win the Redlands game. Even the Vassar game, like we saw, I mean, we all have Twitter, we're all looking at the D3 hoop stuff, and we were in like a lot of the upset alerts. Like some people didn't even think we were going to beat Vassar. Nobody thought we were going to beat Redlands. So it's just like another game where, we're being doubted. But we're really excited that we're playing the number one team in the country, and they deserve it. They're a really good team. Like Coach said, they do everything well. But we're going in confident. It's just another game. Go out there, play ball, play hard, and then at the end of the day, whoever makes more plays is going to win. And we feel confident it's going to be us. I mean, that's how you have to approach it. Even if you're, playing a team that is ranked higher, like you can't go in there thinking, oh, this team, they're ranked higher than us, we're going to lose. Like, no, you go in there, you got to go be a dog and go win games, and that's what we think we're going to do.
Javon, as a player, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you all have accomplished for this program. It's one that's either been coached by Chad or his dad. It's had a long history. It's always been a respected program. But as you said, first time they've won an NCAA tournament game, getting a chance to host those games on top of that, conference championship, being ranked in the top 25, not occasionally, but consistently by the end of the season and moving up into the middle of that ranking. Now you're into the Sweet 16. You're going up against the number one team. And you could tell by watching the games this past weekend that the atmosphere is very different than when I visited the campus. And maybe they didn't realize the game was being played. As a student, what's it like to bring that kind of change, as it were, to the program, the department, and the school? I think we got a little bit of a breakup. Oh, did we get you back?
I mean, it's amazing, and you can see it like here for 4 years. Yeah, I think we're good now.
Can you hear us? Good. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying that you can really see the change. It's just been amazing. I've been here for 4 years now. I got hurt one year and I sat out, and I feel like every year the crowds get better. The team culture I feel like has really changed this year, and it's just it's surreal, honestly. Like looking back at what we've accomplished. I mean, obviously we're not satisfied. We want to go win a national championship, but at the end of the day, like we do realize what we have done. We've had the best season in school's history. Won a MAC championship. Won 2 tournament games, which has never been done. Put ourselves in a position to host those games. And, it's just amazing. So I mean, we're really happy about it. But like I said, we have a bigger goal now. We're not worried about the MAC championship. We're not worried about what games we've already won. We're worried about just Trinity at this point, just one game at a time.
Chad, do you get to walk around the house now with your dad and just and grin a little? You've now eclipsed his career, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's gonna love that. No, I mean, like I told you last time. I mean, there's so much respect to like those guys, and how they built the program just from scratch, and all the obstacles they had to overcome. I mean, they didn't play on campus for 9 seasons until they actually built an arena on campus. So, when I came down in 2013, that arena was recently built, and athletics was kind of taking the next step at the school. So, all those coaches, players that came before us really, kind of, set the baseline for what we could build off of. And so, we just really tried to, increase the programs, spotlight and just get better and kind of try to rise in national prominence every year. And so, we took a really big step this year, and we lost some good players from last year to graduation, and so there were some question marks about how good we were going to be offensively and defensively. But these guys have really just just come through with flying colors. And the one thing that I think goes unnoticed a little bit this year is that we've stayed relatively healthy. I mean, we're really banged up, but we haven't had too many guys, like starters especially, miss games. Whereas in the past couple years, that's been one of our downfalls, just so many guys just getting injured. And so, that always helps when you can get through a season and get to March and still have, guys in uniform and playing. I mean, my dad's is as excited as anyone about it. Him and my mom rode the bus up. He's ecstatic about everything. So no, even if I wanted to, he wouldn't even mind if I gave him a little nudge and got a little cocky around the house.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Congrats, guys. Really impressive. I think this game against Trinity is, well, they're all must watch, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. I can't wait to see it. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy getting ready, so thank you for finding that time, especially on the road. Good luck against the Bantams, and we'll look forward to chatting with you in the future. In the meantime, we always give the guests the final word. Chad, you know about it, so we'll let you go first, but we'd love to hear from both of you. Any final thoughts you want to share with those who may be tuned in?
Well, just as everyone always says, we definitely appreciate all the promotion and attention that you get these athletes in the Division III scene. Definitely deserving of it. These guys and these teams that compete at this level, and especially these teams in this tournament, it is high quality basketball. And so anytime these guys get recognized for this stuff is awesome. So I know you're a big part of that. So as always, we definitely appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you, Chad.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, first off, just thank you for having me. And then also, like you said, just thank you for the attention you bring to D3 hoops. I know a lot of times it gets overlooked, especially younger players. I can say for myself, growing up, it was, D1, D1, D1. And then I remember the first D3 game I went to, it was a hood game, and it was against Randolph-Macon when they had Buzz Anthony. And I was like, all right, this level's legit. And
that game.
I think it's just really good that the attention that D3 hoops is getting. And, I even feel it like locally, kids are starting to really understand that all levels of college basketball are really good hoops. So, and I know you have a part in that. So just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Wow. I mean, talk about an introduction to Division III when you're watching Buzz Anthony and Randolph-Macon against, it was a pretty good hood squad that year too, if memory serves. Thanks for the time, guys. Take care. Good luck. And we'll look forward to catching up with you down the road, and enjoy at the very least.
Thank you.
All right, Dave. Thanks, man.
We'll see you. Take care. Chad Dickman, Javon Yarbrough joining us here on the Hoopsville Hotline from Hood, taking on the #1 Trinity Bantams coming up this weekend. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit from Trinity. We'll hear from their post-game press conference against Babson, since it had some interesting thoughts. Looking forward to hearing from that. You're listening to Hoopsville, presented by D3Hoops.com. Back with more after this.
For the love of the game, but for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
We are the coaches of women's basketball. We are leaders and teachers, dreamers and winners. We are professionals who conduct ourselves ethically and with integrity. We place the education, safety, and well-being of the athletes we coach above all else, and teach them the fundamental values they need to succeed in life. We are coaches united for the good of our game and those who play it. We are the WBCA.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% would go pro. That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
The National Association of Basketball Coaches is the nation's premier professional development and advocacy organization for basketball coaches at every level. The NABC strives to serve as the voice for coaches on national issues while advancing the core value of leadership, service, advocacy, education, and inclusion. To learn more about the NABC and to become a member, visit NABC.com and follow the NABC on social media at NABC 1927. That's NABC.com or NABC 1927 on social media.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship.
Welcome back to Hoopsville, everybody. Continuing to roll along as we wrap up this show and get going. I got to actually pack and get out of here. I got an early flight tomorrow to head back to the Baltimore area. And again, reminder, we'll be on the air with Hoopsville starting at noon on Monday to recap this weekend. Go to d3hoops.com. We have all the links to the games, live stats, live video, etc. You'll get to see those 8 men's games, 4 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, and of course the women's sectionals. And of course, by the time they're done the weekend, the women will be down to Final Four. The men will be down to 8. We'll talk about the logistics in a minute. Wanted to feature Trinity on this show only because we haven't talked to them since the opener of the season either, and couldn't make it work for this week. But they had their press conference against Babson. What's interesting about this is, first off, it's a little hard to hear the questions. So I'm not really sure how much we're going to stick to this interview or this post-game. I'm picking it up as a question is wrapping up. Coach Cosgrove's not at the dais, but they have Henry Vetter and they have a couple of their other players there. So I just wanted to play a little bit of it so we could hear some of what their thoughts were coming out of the Babson win. Remember, both games this past weekend, Trinity was down in the second half, double digits, and had to storm back to win those games. First, unexpectedly in both games, to be completely honest. But we nearly got a huge upset by Keuka, and then Babson nearly knocked off the Bantams, which I think makes the game going up against Hood even more fascinating. So we're going to listen to it. This is by way of the Trinity Sports Information Department. We'll see how much we can really hear with this interview, do our best with it. But here is, and I'm pretty sure we have the audio for this set up. There it is. I got to click one little thing, so I'm kind of glad I checked on that. Hopefully you can hear it. If we can't, we'll at least put a link for it so you can watch it a little bit later yourself. But we'll listen to a few minutes here on Hoopsville.
Yeah, I'd say that, I think our defense just fuels our offense. I think that's when we're at our best is when we're getting stops, getting out in transition, and we were able to get a couple freebies, a couple mismatches on their transition defense. And I think that really fueled us just to see the ball go through the bucket on some easy ones. And like you said, I thought that second unit gave us a great stretch from, I think we were down 10 and they cut it down to 4 too. And obviously they got the gym going, the energy started going, and then from there I think we kind of opened the floodgates and kind of knew it was our game to take.
And Coach Cosgrove has arrived.
Yeah, I was. They played tough. Babson played tough. They played hard. They were all toughness for a while, and I think the key to the game is our guys just stepped up and said, "No, we're going to make plays. We're going to out tough them. We're going to get the 50-50 balls, all the toughness plays." And we stepped up and did that. And like I think Henry said, that second unit stepped up in both halves and really gave us a huge lift where. They don't play a lot of guys, so I knew once got under the minimum, we got it right there, that it was going to be tough for them to stay with us just because of our experience, but also because of our depth and because of our conditioning. I knew our guys don't get tired. I mean, we're built for this playing back to back. That's fun for these guys.
So Trevor,
You have sustained up plays defensively, love the ground and stuff as well. Crowd really nice next week. What are your thoughts on the crowd?
Yeah, I thought the fans did a great job back-to-back nights. We were able to play off their energy, which was great. I just try to do whatever I can to uplift the team with energy. Like I don't really need to score 20 points a night, but if I dive on the floor, get a few rebounds, and make a few good defensive plays, like that's me scoring 20. So.
So looking ahead, guys, look at the bracket. They're going to be playing the Hood in the next round. They had a shootout with Redlands today, won 114 to 104.
No overtime?
Nope. What are your thoughts going against a team like Hood who seems to be able to throw it out?
I think we'll be good, and I look forward to having a good week of practice, good week of preparation. I think we've done a good job. I think going into the NESCAC playoffs, and then this week just having some good practices, stacking days, and really staying together. Honestly, just enjoying the time we have on the court together, because obviously the days are very, very limited nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm sure Hood is very, very good. I know they hosted their region, so they got to be one of the top teams in the country. So, like we said in the locker room, nothing's easy this time of year.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. Everybody can play. Everybody's got big time players in the team. So we just got to be ready to continue to work and continue to grind.
Yeah, and then look at the other matchup.
So there you go. There's some of the thoughts from Trinity with that tournament. They are a good team. We know that. I found it interesting. Coach Cosgrove, they mentioned the score to him of the Hood game over Redlands, 114-104. He goes, that wasn't any overtime? They said no overtime. And he kind of saw him a little stunned by that, but then admitted they don't know a lot about Hood. That has obviously changed between when that was recorded on Saturday and now. Listen, all 8 games are fascinating. All the games in men's and women's basketball are absolutely fascinating to me. And I think that game is one near the top. Quickly, Grayson said, I have a question at the end of the show, so I'm excited for the Sweet 16 Elite 8. Well, Grayson, ask your question now because we're about to wrap up the show. So last chance to get those questions in right now, to be honest with you, but man. So send them my way. But again, every single game is interesting in this tournament. There isn't going to be a stunning result that we don't. They're all going to be good results. Does that make sense? So let's look at things. On Friday in men's basketball at 1 o'clock, it's Yeshiva against number 2 Emory. If you don't think Yeshiva's got a chance in that game, you don't know history, because Emory, the Roanoke game, they nearly lost at home. They had a heartbreaker of a loss to Claremont Mud Scripps in the round of 32 in 2020. Anything's possible. I think Emory's a good team, but Yeshiva has shown to be a pretty good team too. Though the twist about Yeshiva is that the 2 times they've gotten to the round of 16 have both happened in these off years, in the sense that we're going towards a championship, a dual champion or a combined championship. This year in Indianapolis, and 2020 was in Atlanta. And in both years, so the round of 16 was at one place. And in both years, they didn't play the host school in the opening weekend. In 2020, everyone thought it was going to be Yeshiva versus Johns Hopkins in the second round, and Hopkins got upset by Penn State Harrisburg. This year, Montclair got upstate by Maine Farmington. And so I'm not saying that's a knock on Yeshiva's getting to the round of 16. What I'm saying is it's an interesting step that their biggest challenge in the 2 years they've gotten to the round of 16 will be playing a team, playing a fully one of the top teams. I should say. Bates was certainly good. Do not get me wrong, but they weren't a top 25 team. Now, of course, they never played Randolph-Macon, did Yeshiva? And I think if we look back on that, a lot of us thought Yeshiva would win that game. I don't think we fully appreciated just how good Buzz Anthony and Randolph-Macon were, and they certainly proved that later. In hindsight, I think we were being a little naive about Yeshiva's chances. This time around, anything's possible. Then at 7 o'clock, you've got Christopher Newport taking on Randolph-Macon. That game is sold out. It's been sold out for days. That game is an hour. Those schools are an hour apart from one another. I wish I could get to that game tomorrow night. I've got another gig. I cannot possibly make it. Then number 11, Endicott is at number 8, Illinois Wesleyan. This should be at Endicott. All signs that we've heard is maybe just an accidental mistake on the paperwork. So it's going to be an Illinois Wesleyan instead. If you don't think Endicott's got a legitimate chance in that, you're crazy. But Endicott's advantage this past weekend was their crowd, and it's always been their crowd and been at home. Well, that's Illinois Wesleyan's advantage in this scenario. And then Wash U at St. Thomas. Remember that earlier this season, St. Thomas played Mary Washington, right? Do I have this right? Hold on. I'm calling it up because I don't want to get this wrong. Yes. They played Mary Washington in the 4th game of the season and lost to them by 1. That is their only loss of the season. A 1-point loss on the road at Wash U by a point. Now Anthony Medina's team gets to host that same Wash U team and arguably a different Bears team, because that Wash U program lost later in December to Illinois Wesleyan, then got into UAA play, and at one point had lost 6 of 9 games. Between January 10th and February 8th, they lost 6 games and had 3 wins. You go back and include the Mary Washington game, they had 10 losses and 5 wins. 5 and 10. No, that's not right. I did that wrong. Apologies. Hold on. 7 losses and 5 wins. 5 and 7 and 12. There's the math I'm trying to do. So between December 18th and February 8th, they were 5 and 7 in those 12 games. Since then, they have won 7 straight, including Whitewater, including Chicago, Brandeis, NYU, Case Western, and Carnegie Mellon. And by the way, they had lost to Rochester and Emory at the end of that back end. But remember, Wash U had beaten Emory. We just talked about that earlier this season. So this is going to be a very different game, but it's at St. Thomas now. It's in Houston. So that's that's just Friday on the men's side. On Saturday, you then have number 16 Hood at number 1 Trinity at 4 o'clock. At 4:20, you have number 12 Tufts at number 17 Wesleyan in a NESCAC rematch. At 4:40, you have number 14 La Crosse taking on number 5 Mary Washington in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And then at 5 o'clock, you have number 7 Gustavus taking on number 6 Chicago in Chicago. Bonkers weekend. And the 8 winners will be playing in Fort Wayne on Thursday in the national quarterfinals, which will be on ESPNU. That's just the men's side. On the women's side, on Friday, number 20 Concordia Moorhead against number 5 Johns Hopkins in Scranton. Then number 19 La Crosse taking on Southern Maine at NYU. Then number 11 John Carroll against number 8 Denison at Washington and Lee. Then number 17 Chicago against number 7 Hope, that game in Oshkosh. Then the hosts play, number 12 Bates taking on number 2 Scranton. Unranked Hardin-Simmons going up against number 1 NYU. Number 23 Bethel taking on number 3 Washington and Lee. And number 15 Wash U taking on number 4 Oshkosh. There are 2 unranked teams in the entire women's side of the 16. They are Hardin-Simmons, who came through their own pod where there were no ranked teams, and Southern Maine, who absolutely had a dandy of a weekend. If you don't think the women's side is going to be fascinating to watch too, you're crazy. Find yourself time to watch these games. And don't forget about the NCAA Championship Pass. You can watch the games online. A must watch. We still have a little bit more business to take care of. Grayson, if you haven't gotten your question in, get it in to me as soon as you can. He said, I'm so excited about this week of NCAA Tournament games. We all are, my man. Johnston Trophy finalists are out. There is a fan vote for this. Let's just quickly, I'm not going to say these names right. I'm apologize now, but I want to at least mention the finalists. On the women's side, Isabella Antonacci, I believe, from Allegheny. Riley Kokorian from Bridgewater, the Virginia version. Brianna Fitzgerald from SUNY New Paltz. Natalie Grishkus from Carroll, Vanessa Hall from Utica, Lexi Harris from WashU, Casey Cranston from Scranton, Macy Miller from Ohio Wesleyan, Samari Perkins from Capital, Mary Slicer from WNL, and Elise Warren from Millsaps. All of those players are tremendous on the floor. And I already know without reading their bios, some of these have tremendous academics and community service. On the men's side, Chris Bryant from Hardin Simmons, Brian Berman from Sarah Lawrence, Mason DePurick from MSOE, Mason Funk from Illinois Wesleyan, Sam Greiger from Wisconsin Lacrosse, Scott Gemesi, from Tufts, Chase Morgan from Maryville, Kevin Nowaziak from Franklin and Marshall. I love Nowaziak as a player, for the record. I undersung. It's too bad that program couldn't have had a better season, because Nowaziak is an undersung player. Ben Pierce from Emory, we were talking about him earlier today. Jack Plesser from Union, and Soren Richardson from Wheaton, Illinois. Those are 20 outstanding student athletes in Division III. The fan vote is open for the Jostens Trophy fan vote. That vote goes until, I can't remember. Apologies. I'm trying to see if it's mentioned here. I don't see it, so I apologize. There's actually 11, because on the women, there's actually one extra on the women's side. I don't know what the deadline for that is. Pat, I know, tweeted it, and I apologize, I missed it. This is the 28th version of the Jostens Trophy. Much like the Gallardi Trophy in football, this is awarded as the best player who also is really good at academics and a tribute to their community as well with their community service. All-Star vote for the NABC All-Star Game. By the way, I've not heard anything about a WBCA All-Star Game, and that's my fault. I'll try and look into it, but I don't think it may not be happening this year. But we'll find out more information ahead of Monday's show. But All-Star vote took place. We forgot to mention this for the NABC. But hats off to Jaden Rowe of York and Tazan Daniels from Albertus Magnus. They're the ones who got the fan vote, so they're into the All-Star game for the NABC. We will learn more about the All-Star rosters coming up. Next week has a lot to do with who's into the tournament, who's not. That All-Star game for the NABC will be played on Saturday ahead of the two semifinals. I don't know. Hang on. I'm not positive of the timing. I should know this too, and I'm goofing on that myself. Oh, here it is, 2:30 at Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, and then the semifinals will take place after that. Coaching carousel has already been spinning in men's basketball. Tim Kaiser has left Adrian for Alvernia. Mike Miller Jr., who took over for his dad, is out after 3 years, going 48-34 in those 3 seasons, which is kind of interesting. Geneva's Jeff Santarciero, I apologize, announced his retirement after 414 wins, 420 losses in 30 years at Geneva. He was also a women's coach at Nyack, where he went 72-30, by the way. James Mooney is out at Mount St. Vincent after 9 seasons. Michael Allen's out at Regent. This is a school that's coming into Division III, and they've already made a decision. We mentioned this on Monday's show because Christopher Newport's got a player his dad's taken over, Barry Hollenbeck, who was the assistant at Regent. He's taking over. Again, his son plays for Christopher Newport. St. Scholastica, Jared Drake is out after just 1 season in Duluth. They went 7-18 this year. At Westminster, Missouri, Todd Creel is out. Program won 19 games in just the last 4 seasons. On the women's side, this gets a little bit more interesting. We'll start with Heidelberg. We talked about this Aaron Eaton story for months about the allegations that the players had accused her not only at Heidelberg but at other previous coaching stops, including Muskegum and Pitt Greensburg. Verbal, mental, and emotional abuse. She apparently survived an external investigation that found no wrongdoing, found no NCAA law broke. This according to the school's press release. But apparently she is, quote, no longer employed there. Now, at Heidelberg in 2 seasons, she went 4-45. At Muskegum prior, she was 14-46, and at Pitt Greensburg, 80-102. but Aaron Eaton is out. Lake Forest, Tamlin Tills retired after 18 seasons. At Laterno, Scott McAllister, who had been there for 4 years, out after going 28-74, 5-20 in their first season in the SCAC. Mary Hardin Baylor made an interesting move. Kate Novak-Lenore is out after 3 seasons. She had 21 wins, 7 in her first season, 17 last year, and just 8 this year. This one confuses me. I know they didn't have a great season. There was a lot of going on there. It sounds to me like maybe the administration might have been scuttling this coach in the background, like just not a lot of support this year. So I'm a little surprised Katie Novak-Lenore didn't get a little bit more support, and also only 3 seasons. I don't know what they were expecting. Anyway, Moravian, we already knew this. Mary Beth Spurk has retired. She's been battling cancer. We should note they have made a hire. I don't have it on the... Apologies. I saw they have made a hire for that job. Where was it? Apologies. Give me a second here. Where was it? I was just reading it earlier today. I apologize. Cannot find it now. But apparently they've made a hire. And I just don't know where it is now. And I thought I had it at the top of my head, and then I lost it. So I guess we'll move on. Nichols, Ava Limoncello is out. Jacques Rivera, the assistant coach there, has already been named the next head coach. North Park, Annie Radenkovich has parted ways with the school after 4 seasons. 21-79, 6-57 in CCIW play. Pacific Lutherans, Lee Abendel, out, after 2 seasons. Rhodes, Judy Vignal Thurman was let go. A week and a half left in the season. We talked about this a few weeks back. Matt Dean replaced her on an interim basis. Not sure what's going to happen there. And this is the big news. Just happened the other day. Tanya Englund has retired from Wisconsin Eau Claire. She coached more than a quarter century, won 427 games. We had Tanya on the show many a time. Coach Englund, tip the hat to you. Congratulations. So there's that news. Now some tough news. I'm going to be a little emotional. Please apologize now for it. I have known for quite some time, and it's finally been news for the last week or so. Kevin Curley, head coach at McDaniel College, is dealing with stage 4 esophageal cancer. I saw him at the Gettysburg game. There are some incredible stories here. The Johns Hopkins win that McDaniel got, that some of you might remember at Johns Hopkins, Kevin was apparently had some treatment going on in the game, like attached to him, and they won that game. Buzzer beater against Dickinson was an emotional win from everything I've heard. Unfortunately, this has been a struggle. The update that we got, when was this? 2 days ago. This is from Allison Curley, his wife. Kevin Curley was admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital on March 1st due to complications from radiation treatment to his esophagus that made it impossible for him to eat or drink. He recently had a feeding tube placed and continues to receive chemotherapy treatment. If everything goes well, he's scheduled to be discharged this Friday. So that's tomorrow if you're watching us live. Allison and Curley family want to extend a severe thank you and to everyone who has offered thoughts, prayers, and support during this time. Your kindness means so much to them. Please continue to donate and support the Curley family as they navigate this difficult time. Please, any support helps. We have put a GoFundMe link on the Hoopsville show page. There's other content there as well. We've also included an interview that Ryan Scott did with the Cullen and Kyle Robinson brothers. But again, we have a link to Kevin Curley's GoFundMe page there. Please consider supporting that cause the best you can. I've known Kevin for years. I caught a lot of McDaniel basketball games over the years, among other sports. I used to do pregame interviews with Kevin. This is what we did at McDaniel. We did pregame interviews live on the air with both coaches ahead of their games. Kevin and I would lose track of time. A lot of times we were like, "Oh shoot, we gotta go. You got to coach, I got to broadcast." The way they have it set up, the men's bench is near the broadcast, where the women's side is on the other side. They flip or they switch. So Kevin was always nearby, so I got to watch Kevin. He is an amazing coach. If they could get slightly better recruits for whatever the challenge is, that'd be a very tough program because Kevin is a very good coach. He's well respected. And by the way, his brother Greg is the head coach at Juniata. Anyway, please help Kevin. We're wishing him the best. He has got 3 kids with his wife, Allison, Caroline, Nate, and Gabe. Again, he's dealing with stage 4 metastatic esophageal cancer. And obviously there becomes a lot of challenges that come with that. And there you go. And I'm a little bit emotional because I consider Kevin a friend. And with that in mind, we're going to wrap this one up. Grayson, unless you got a question, you got to get it in now, my man, and we're done. Great guests on today's show. I want to thank Jason Zimmerman from Emory, Markus Kahn Jay Randall from Mary Washington, Beth Andrews, Carly Perusik, and Ava Reinkartz from John Carroll. Also, Allison Montgomery from Bates, Chad Dickman, and Javon Yarbrough from Hood. There are great articles on the front of D3Hoops.com, some of them written by Ryan Scott, including about the Robinson brothers. Go to D3Hoops.com to read up on those. Go find our old Hoopsville show from Monday. There's some great interviews there as well. And again, we have links on our front page for everything else under the sun that you may need. We'll be back on the air Monday at noon Eastern. It is now almost 10:15. I haven't eaten dinner tonight, so I now need to find some place that might still be open so I can eat before I got to pack and get back to Baltimore on Friday. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Had great guests. Thanks to all the sports information directors for their assistance as well today, or for this show. I appreciate their efforts. As well as it made this trip down here, and especially sports information directors on Monday, made this show, getting this show on the air and done far easier thanks to their help. If you got questions for us, you got ideas, whatever the case may be, email me, hoopsville at d3sports.com. That's hoopsville at d3sports.com. You can always also find us on Twitter at D3Hoopsville or hashtag Hoopsville, and you can certainly find us on other social media platforms as well, using Hoopsville or D3Hoops or using the hashtag Hoopsville as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to all our neighbors in the hotel. I hope they didn't mind listening to a show twice this week already. Haverford's baseball team, by the way, officially in this hotel. Some of them are on the floor with me. So I hope they didn't mind listening to the show. We'll be back on the air Monday, noon Eastern, as we recap what promises to be an absolutely outstanding NCAA tournament weekend. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, buymeacoffee.com/Hoopsville as well to support our work. We'll leave it up on the full screen if you want to grab the QR code, donate, or become a Hoopsville member. Every little bit helps, and we could certainly use as much help as possible as we hope to push our way into season 24 next year. See you on Monday, everybody. You've been listening to Hoopsville, presented by D3Hoops.com from the Women's Basketball Coaches Association studio. Thanks to our friends at the WBCA and D3Hoops.com. We'll see you back here Monday.